that Dignitas is going to start on the CT side.
And something that is going to be a factor, I feel, through this series is the money game. Dignitas are going to be less likely to be baited into forced scenarios where, you know, they've got those AKs, but they're lacking utility on the T side. That's something we saw come out quite a lot all day yesterday, and something that AVEZ need to potentially avoid on this T side here. The first map of Nuke, ladies and gentlemen. Dignitas and AVEZ, the pistol round about to get underway. And when we look at the buys, it's heavy utility for AVEZ and quickly in towards A.
Quick move forward. It's on site. There's going to be a duel. Freiburg is going to get caught off guard. Halzerk in heaven does at least get one before he falls, but Kyler chimes in with a double right there, and that is going to be the bomb plan coming in. Exist and Forest, can they push this one quick enough? They are going to double up, it seems. Nade on site ain't going to do that much damage, and it is a very tough round for Dignitas to win. They are both doubling up in heaven, so honestly, they should not have a solid chance to take this one, but you never know. The headshots might just reign supreme. There is no kit on them. There might be one on site, but it doesn't matter. They all get shut down, and AVEZ take away the opening round.
The pace working for AVEZ in the pistol as Dignitas only with Freiburg in the bomb site. Halzerk tried to defend, got a kill back, but it was not good enough. And the odds from our partners over at LootBet pretty much agreeing with my sentiments here. Dignitas starting on that CT side with an advantage, but not guaranteed victory.
Yeah, it is definitely possible if AVEZ managed to get themselves 6 rounds on the T side. Everything is open right here. It is not like AVEZ are bad on this map. It's actually one of their favored maps as well. The main reason Dignitas went for it was just because they feel more comfortable on the map themselves. So it is not a denial pick. That means this is probably going to be a very close match between these two squads. And it does seem that they're going to go for the outside take. Halzerk is going to get smoked off, and his scouts should not be able to find any decent shot in with if they have enough utility spent on the side of AVEZ.
Halzerk on the scout, can't hit the first shot due to him being completely blinded by a flash, but Forest is dealing damage. 3 quick tags, takes down Kyler and drops the bomb as well. Freiburg's found a second headshot, and Halzerk has finished off Norot, who was tagged down severely. This is now a nightmare for AVEZ as Kai and Marcos, with these AKs, Existers just wrecked Kai, immediately leaving Marcos in a 1 versus 3 scenario now. He's being wrapped upon as well, but these Dig players, they just need to stay where they are. Marcos has to recover the bomb yet and get into a bomb site. Great play already from the Dignitas side.
Yeah, the moment that the shots come out, you see Freiburg edging slightly forward. They're just trying to play the bomb game. The moment he peeks wide, Get Right shoots him in the back. And that should be the moment where Freiburg peeks out from main and shuts down Marcos. The reversal comes in from Dignitas. Nice round. I mean, they went outside, and as I said, they need the utility there, but they threw 1 flash, and when they doubled up outside, it was pretty tough to cross against a scout and a deagle. 1 tap from the deagle, 1 shot from the scout, and a player falls. Well, in this case, it was Freiburg who just got full free roam on his shots and was able to just go completely ham. No one really focused on him at all.
And you can see Dignitas understanding the importance of utility. Halzerk just on a scout, and Forest on the MP5 to make sure that he can bring more grenades to this round as opposed to trying to utilize a FAMAS. Norot and Marcos have doubled up with the weakened snipers for this T side, but if Dignitas have much sense, they won't be peeking directly into those crosshairs. Get Right spots 1, but he's going to communicate that to his team and actually gets ripped to pieces. Norot, what an excellent shot to land. Kai does fall to Exist's M4, but he's only on 8 HP as well, and this round might just be possible for AVEZ.
Yeah, especially with the information game coming out right now from Dignitas. They will have so much info right now. The flank towards ramp coming in, but there might be a flank on a flank coming in soon. So they need to be very careful. Kyler is already in hell. They have no idea that he's there at least. Well, now they are turning around, and Halzerk does shut him down when he picks up the AK towards Red box, we do have Marcos with his scout. Gets a nice tag in on Hulzerk. He does not know if there's another player towards hell, but Exist peeks out wide with his HHP. Gets a kill.
Ooh.
Nice shutdown from Bialy. And, I mean, they're all over the place. I even lose track of where the CTs and Ts are at the moment. It does seem that AVEZ are going to group up to outside towards... Oh, actually, are going to head towards A side where Freiburg gets annihilated by Marcus' scout. Pretty big damage dealt so far. It's all on Forrest and Exist. Exist down to 8 HP. Forrest does have an SMG in hand. He's going to peek out wide. The scout shot missed from Marcus. The second one did connect, but Forrest gets the 1v2, wins the round, and takes this victory with him into the next.
That was such an important engagement to take there from Forrest. Exist is only on 8 HP, so he would have been at serious risk if he even had to just look at a one-on-one situation in that last round. Heroic efforts from Forrest to get through the force spy, and now Dignitas should be looking at an ecoed opponent to try and overcome in order to secure their third here. Should be an easy round ahead, but there are those deagles on the AVEZ side, and we know both sides are hitting one taps today.
They are definitely looking like they're awake right now. Hulzerk, nice nade outside. He's not going to do any damage, but Get Right's going to get aggressive towards red. Might get overwhelmed here if he's not careful. There are 4 players with pistols running his direction. Does get one, but if he tries to fall back, the player on top of Silo, he's going to have to peek wide and hold the line. His gun is out of ammo, and they shut him down. Luckily, Hulzerk does chime in with a double spray down and will make it very tough for AVEZ to recover this round, though Hulzerk is pretty low, so there's a possibility. Of course, you find him spread out, you take him down. There is an M4 somewhere on the floor over there next to AVEZ, but the positioning is pretty nice right now from Dignitas. They do have it locked down. Marcos trying to get that one dig, but Forrest gets rid of Bialy instead of him. Now it's all on Marcos. 1v4 is getting pushed by Freiburg as well with the SMG to farm up some extra cash. 3-1 in favor of Dignitas, but now the full buy round is going to come in from AVEZ.
The rifles are going to be out on the T side. They're going to be desperate as well to try and win some rounds on this T side. They need about 6 in order to call things a successful outing. And while this isn't their pick, it is one of their stronger maps in the pool. And if they receive a heavy beating here, if they fail to get 10 rounds in total throughout the map, it could be really worrying for this AVEZ side heading through the series. As Dignitas, we just have no idea what to expect from them on Vertigo.
Exactly that. We do not know. They haven't played Vertigo for 2 months. A lot of damage is being sprayed around, wall banging all over the place, but it's only a little bit of tickle damage. They do still have plenty of utility on both sides, on up on Marcos and up on Hulzerk, so they should be able to get some good duels going. Marcos is actually all the way back in garage right now, deep in garage, so he will be able to hold an outside push partially if they go for from outside to a site. It does seem to be a smoke execute from AVEZ going outside, and they will be able to cross. Is that smoke going to be perfect? Because I see so many smoke moves coming in from teams where they accidentally make a gap, and that's like a 2-man spray down coming in favor of the opposing squad.
It looks as though the smokes do the job for now, but AVEZ are looking for a way into this A bomb site. They don't look like they're interested in dropping into the vent, so it is Freiburg who's going to be under pressure. He turns away at the wrong time, though, and gets overwhelmed. Marcos has found Hulzerk as well, and I don't even know if Dignitas want to attempt this one. Forrest is bailing out with the AWP, and it's just going to be the safe call. 2 kills is all it takes for AVEZ, and they secure the opening gun round of Nuke.
Yeah, that's a very quick save call. They believe that it doesn't benefit them as much by just going in guns blazing to try and turn this one around. It is going to be 2 rounds now for AVEZ. Nice round. They tried to bait them out with the smoke rotation outside, keep them occupied, and then they hit a site where they weren't really ready on Dignitas. They also did lack a little bit of utility, like mollies and stuff, to hold off the push, but it should be absolutely no one falling now, and Solid round from AVEZ. The money for both squads is pretty solid, though. They, especially AVEZ, they keep 5 players alive, so they have plenty of extra money in the bank.
One round necessary to tie things up on the T side. That would be wonderful news for the Polish squad. If they can put out a strong performance on their T half, they'll be thanking their lucky stars and breathing a sigh of relief, heading over to what you anticipate to be that easier defensive side of the map. But Dignitas, they aren't going to go quietly into the night. They have as many rifles and as much utility as you could want in this gun round. They are going to definitely be contesting this one, and AVEZ, they have to play it slowly and they know it. They look to take outside control again with the wall of smokes they deployed previously. This isn't necessarily a poor strategy, but if they dump 4 smokes again, they might have limited utility for any post-plant situations they're looking for.
Yeah, but there's Get Right playing close. I don't personally see a small... Oh, there is a small little gap that he definitely can spot players through if they get too close. It's a 5-man push from AVEZ coming outside. Get Right, will he be able to shut down Guy? That would be a massive kill. He does spot the shadow, falls back. Great opening kill for Dignitas. And that is one of those little gaps in the smoke that I was talking about. That is just too dangerous, especially against a lineup like Dignitas's. They will definitely take you down. Guy is actually on 0 frags so far, so that is not the start that I would have expected from him. However, where is the full B defense coming in from Dignitas? They're just letting that B site go so far.
I thought the rotations would have come through slightly faster, considering the amount of outside presence, but perhaps they believe it was going to be a wraparound into hell to try and attack the A bomb site. Dignitas have guessed this one wrong. They stack no players into B at all. It's absent defense, as now they're going to have to go for the 5-on-4 retake in the lower bomb site, as they can't really allow 3-3 away, especially when they have all their players remaining. They're definitely going to be going for it, and it's pretty much everybody coming through ramp. You've got Get Right slow pushing into secret at the moment to try and spot any players out and make some noise, but it's all on this ramp contingent, and Marcos is ripping them to pieces. Hulzerk finds Bialy with the Molotov, and Get Right has the flank on Marcos now, but Norut's defending the bomb site. Kyler's left alone, 2-on-1, and Get Right cleans him up. Hulzerk sticking the defuse, but he actually got off it. Does he have the time? He does. Secures it for Dignitas, and they survive with 2 alive from the B-site retake.
That is a definite must-win round there for Dignitas. They got themselves the a 4-man push from ramp, and it actually did manage to pay off because AVEZ's utility was completely gone at the end of that round. If they had a couple of mollies, possibly they could have had a decent shot. They actually didn't even expect to get that B site for free. They were like jumping around everywhere, checking every corner, like, where are they? And they did manage to get the bomb planted, so that's at least going to give them a full AKs, decent amount of utility, but no op this time for Marcos, who did get a nice double in that round to try and defend the bomb.
Definitely a valiant attempt from AVEZ, but they just couldn't cling on with the man disadvantage in that retake, and that just shows you how much impact that early kill from Get Right has. When Norut is swinging out in that 2-on-1 scenario, if he has a teammate there to defend him, they can both engage the solo rifler, and Hulzerk stuck on the bomb. That's much more likely to be a 1 post plant by AVEZ if they don't lose a player early on, and just shows you how much impact 1 early frag from the CTs can have.
Yeah, the advantage is always pretty problematic. It's worse for the if a T takes out a CT, of course, because then you're just a man down on one of the sites. But not having that extra rifler in, especially K, is problematic. But this does look like they're going for a straight A push. Nice spray down from Forrest. Gets one, but gets traded off immediately. Freiburg on site. Ooh. Does not get the support from his offer because he gets shut down, and it's all on Freiburg on the site. The rotations are coming through from blue, but they are not there just yet. Kai is creeping close to the side. Will shut him down, and will they actually expect? Marcos actually jumps down. The bomb is still up on that A site. Marcos forgot to pick it up, and now Kai needs a little bit of help. But because he went down the vents, does jump out of the vents and win the fight against Exist. That is very surprising that Exist gets caught off guard there.
And now we have an opportunity to talk about our partners over at Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website that features almost 100 cases, the updated case battle upgrader, dozens of monthly giveaways, and tons more unique features. The timeout now coming through from AVEZ, as it's the Dignitas economy that isn't in the best spot here. And this is what I was slightly worried about when I looked at the veto initially. Dignitas, with these confidence picks, they've selected what I would argue is AVEZ's strongest map in the pool here, just based on the amount that they've played it, basically tied with Overpass. That could have been a mistake, because AVEZ, they are putting out a strong T-side performance right now, and it's very likely that they pick up a 4th round here.
Yeah, they will force up behind it, though, but they won't have that massive amount of utility on the Dignitas side. They actually go full all-out on that buy. They do have an op and, I guess, 3 pistols with a FAMAS. Very dodgy buy. They could have gone for, like, 1 eco, dropped a couple of guns, and had a full buy next with utility behind it. But they only have 3 smokes, 2 nades, so Halsuk really has to go big, or they need someone to go big on that Dignitas side, because this is really lackluster. You need utility to defend on a map like Nuke. You need that quick molly to drop them. That nade could do a lot of damage, though. And Exist tries to take down Narup, but does lose the fight. Narup is going to get shut down, though. Halsuk misses the 2nd shot, and Marcos shuts him down. That is your big investment gone. Kai is holding the flank. Force is going to peek in. Will get spotted out, and Kai, does he get the double spray down? Does not have the full control. That is going to be an AK dropped. It's 2 versus 3. Will they go for the retake, though? They do not have a kit. They have 2 smokes and 2 rifles, but it is still very tough to retake that B site with a man disadvantage, especially once Freiburg drop down. They now have intel of one of the players from Dignitas. They need to hurry up. They need to take these frags quickly. Marcos, he shuts down Freiburg, and that should mean Get Right should save his FAMAS into the next round. They are broke, and that should be a full eco for Dignitas.
Nightmare scenario to occur for Dignitas on their map pick. AVEZ, they pick up a 4th round with a 5th well on the way, as Dig have to eco into round number 9. And it's really AVEZ who have looked like the stronger side. Dignitas, I thought they would really dominate this series when they so convincingly took the 2nd round and converted the 3-1 scoreline. It looked as though they'd be in firm control of the map, but in these full gun rounds, AVEZ have been regularly coming out on top on the T side of Nuke, which is not something you expect to see whatsoever. The hard eco coming through now from the predominantly Swedish side as AVEZ hunt down their 5th round. Dignitas may want to call a timeout at the start of the next gun round just to make sure everybody's on the same page on this map.
Yeah, this is pretty much just a talking point for Dignitas. Get their strats for the next round ready. Get Right, unless he absolutely goes insane right now with that FAMAS, I don't really see them getting anything done here. They are holding the push here on AVEZ because they expect Dignitas to get a little bit greedy like they did last round. And they're just going to boost Dignitas back towards heaven so he can hold that Mustang position.
And they will slowly be aggressing in towards the B ramp. Marching forward straight into the USPs. Halsuk gets a dink, but Exist can't really convert those kills. Norad's been tagged down as well. This FAMAS nearly had an opportunity, but Marcos is too quick with the AWP. Forest finds another quick kill, but there are 2 full HP players for these USPs still to find. Perhaps if the tags were there, I'd have slightly more faith. Freiburg could find decent late round damage here, but this should be the converted round from AVEZ either way.
This is a lot of damage dealt.
Ooh.
Okay, the last 2 players, 15 and 23 HP. Freiburg has an AK in his hand, so he just needs a tag on, 1 tag on each, and they will fall now at close range. William shut down. Oh my God, Freiburg with the triple clutch round, and they won the round with 1 FAMAS, 4 USPs, and a lot of headshots.
Oh, the dinks come through from those USPs, and then Papa Freiburg on that ramp flank finds himself a free AK, takes down the only full HP player, exploiting the headshot angle, and then demolishes Norot and co. Swings around to the window as he sees the bullets firing and takes down Kai at the end. That is horrific from AVEZ. I don't even care how good of a round that is from Dignitas. You lost to a single FAMAS in that round. That is fundamentally unacceptable.
Especially because the FAMAS only took down one player. The rest of it was pretty much done with USPs. I mean, when they pushed ramp, they got so many headshots off and so much damage dealt by just the two USPs that were holding the angle. And that calls for a time. Well, actually, Dignitas is calling for a timeout right now to discuss what their plan of attack is going to be. I mean, that is a round you never expect to actually win. And Freiburg must feel absolutely amazing with that clutch. Maybe that will spark it up, because 5-4 is not really a great scoreline for the CTs on Nuke, especially after you won the second round after that pistol. So you need to convert this into more. You need to make sure that AVEZ at least doesn't get 6 rounds.
Marcos tagged down slightly early. Kyler as well, taking utility damage. Dignitas perhaps maybe spurred on by that last clutch. It's definitely a viable point that you make. Get right, he's in such an aggressive position here. It's a common spot, but it's not one Dignitas have utilized yet in the half. And now we're quite deep in round number 10. It's all on AVEZ. Are they going to expect it coming through at this point? Because if they risk turning around and swinging into the left player, Holzer could just decimate them in the front with the AWP. They definitely seem to suspect that Get Right could be on the angle, but Norot's the first to find a kill. He takes down Forest and fully blind. Get Right can do nothing. He's unable to turn away from the flash, and that's the 2-man advantage now for the Polish squad.
It is a very aggressive position. Sometimes you could get 2 kills, but most of the time it's a one and done, and if they expect you to be there, one flash catches you off guard. Freiburg, there will be also getting a shot onto Kyle. Gets another one onto Kai outside, turns it around. 3 versus 3. They're going to drop down towards that B site because they just lost too much towards A, and B should be an easy plant coming in. But will they be able to hold that defense? Now is pretty low. He does expect Marcos to come up ramp, and they are so close to each other. Marcos does take down Halzak. He did not expect him to peek on that right side ramp anymore after the time, and they are going to go for that retake. It worked out last round. Will it work out this time? Bialy does shut down exist, and with that, I mean, Freiburg, yes, you went big last, but this time they will not give you an inch again. Now it does shut down Freiburg, and that is going to be a 5-5, evening out the score on Nuke.
And virtually totally resetting the Dignitas economy as well. They have to take a hard eco again now, as Halzak on 4,300. Actually, they might just go for the full investment. It would be a double eco either way for Dignitas. So it's going to be Deagle supporting an AUG. AVEZ, they could get at least 7 here and potentially storm forward for a much stronger T side. They have done exactly what we said. They had to come out swinging. And while it might not be Kai putting out the majority of the frags, that is regardless, as AVEZ just continue to dominate. Halzak's taken down with the only CT rifle, and these Ts, they look like they're taking control of their opponent's pick.
Yeah, this looks very problematic. There was no one really holding that outside push. They didn't need flashes, smokes, or anything. They just straight up walked forward. Now they throw down the smoke. Freiburg does shut down Bialy, and that is a 1-for-1 trade. But look at the damage on Freiburg as well. The weaponry in favor of AVEZ. They are going to head down towards that secret B area, which honestly they have had the most success on so far. Freiburg is going to leave a ramp, and that is going to give an opportunity right here for Kyla to push that ramp area and hold that down. That means the rotations from Dignitas should be very tough to manage. I think there's one player down in exist towards B who needs to be that anchor linchpin, but Freiburg, does he expect to play around the corner? It seems he did not. Kyla gets the shutdown, and it is all on exist right now to hold this bomb site on his own.
Get Right's found an AK, but he's rather far away. Exist drops the bomb at bare minimum. That's going to buy time for Get Right to move in, but Marcos seems aware of the positioning. Forrest has taken down Kai with a beautiful deep shot, and Kyler's super low. Rushes into the crosshairs, and now Marcos is left in a 1v2, AWP in hand, but has to recover the bomb. That eats up precious few seconds for him, and he's going to try and bail away to the A site. I don't even know if he has enough time to plant on this bomb site. This is a huge mistake, Marcos. I think he might just be able to do it, but it's going to be denied by Forrest either way. Great work from the Swedish veteran. Triple kill in the round, and it all starts with those 2 D kills.
Yeah, that was a really strange move coming out from AVEZ. They had the bomb down towards B. They did not decide to plant it. Instead, they tried to face up against Dignitas, close range against the Deagle towards ramp. The push was really unnecessary there from AVEZ. But, you know, that is one of those things that happens when you are up against a squad like Dignitas. You want to shut them down. You want to knock them on the floor quickly, but it does not work out this round, and Dignitas magically turn another round that they should definitely not have won into their victory.
And these Deegs from Dignitas, just heroic on Nuke. Without those 2 Deagle rounds, this would have been a much heavier stomping from the AVEZ side. But still, Dignitas remain in the lead, and they can still deny a 6-round scoreline if they go big and start streaking rounds together. That's been Dig's huge problem. They've not been able to get consecutive CT rounds on the board the majority of the time since the start of this map. Get Right cleaning up Kai, though. Those are the 2 Deagle players taken down. Kyler does not have an AWP available, but Marcos has been cleaned up, and Freiberg's found a second kill for free. He's hunting for more. What is Freiberg doing there? Enough is apparently the answer, as Norak can't land the shots, and he's actually cleaned up by Freiberg, reloaded SMG at the end.
They managed to take one finally away from AVEZ, and that is going to put AVEZ on an eco round. That should be a clear 8-5, and if they manage to win the last 3 rounds on Dignitas, it is still a pretty solid half. They just need to keep AVEZ off that 6. Personally, I do not know how good Dignitas' T side is, but well, with the performance yesterday of all of the teams that I've seen pretty much, I have more faith in T sides than CT sides.
Get Right up close and personal, can't convert the second, but Forrest is there to bail him out, and Holzak removes Bialy with the AWP as well. Norat tries to beat Cramp, and Exist takes him down, and Kyler, the same fate befalls him in the A bomb site, but at the hands of Freiberg instead. Team Ace for Dignitas in the anti-eco, and now they are hunting down 10-5. That is the goal for Dig at the end of this half, and AVEZ have 2 opportunities now to find that elusive 6-round scoreline, but 5 is still enough to work with heading over to the CT half.
Yeah, it's still doable, especially if you manage to win that pistol round. You have a solid chance to turn it all around. We are going to have ourselves a tactical pause for AVEZ. They do not have the best utility, though. I mean, they have a pretty decent utility. They just need so much on this map. You need to commit at least like 3 smokes outside if you want to cross, plus probably 2 flashes to be sure. And I really want to see an inner push, but it is pretty tough to succeed if you don't have the perfect smoke molly rotations coming through, the perfect execute. And it is going to be, it seems, an outside play coming in again from AVEZ. They do like that outside most of all so far. A little bit of ramp presence has been shown in the previous rounds, but it has most of the time been shut down by Dignitas.
Check out this T-side utility as well. They've put those outside smokes down, but they're so limited now. They still have 2 smokes and 2 mollies left, but outside of that, it's just flashes and a HE. The Dig side of things isn't looking too much better, but on the CT side, they already have the advantage. You could argue that AVEZ are still going to need to dump smokes in the B bomb site just to secure a plant here. In fact, they're just going to wait out the presence from Dignitas. This is a very weird setup. It looks like they're going to go for the ramp into B, perhaps, but they could still explode out of secret and wrap into A. It looks like now they are considering flashing through to drop into the vents, but this utility is being burned away, and it looks like they do want to get into those vents.
Yeah, but Forrest is going to try and deny it as much as he can. Get right, gets a double outside towards secret, shuts him down, and that is at least one of the rotations. The last 3 players remaining are in lobby, and we immediately see Kyler trying to get some area. There is going to be a jump up from Forrest, which is going to catch him out, but Freiburg will chime in to finish off. Marcus, it's all on Kyler. Has an AK and a nade, but he can't really do much this round. It is pretty much all set and done. Could save the AK into the next, which actually probably, because it is the last round, next round, it probably is a solid idea to just save it, but is going to go for the peak and will get his head chopped off by Freiburg. The Dignitas squad is looking really good, especially Freiburg. He's on 16 frags so far in 14 rounds. Absolutely going insane for his squad.
Well, Marcos has actually achieved a similar scoreline for the AVEZ side. The issue is that the rest of his team are struggling to keep up. Nobody else above double digits, while Holzerk and Forrest certainly are putting out performances. Exist has brought an auto sniper out into the last round of the half. We do see him utilize that weapon on occasion, and I think the last time I saw him use it on Nuke, he just got wrecked by an AWP immediately, but there's not one available in this round for the T, so he's going to be holding ramp solo with that auto. It's a perfect angle to utilize it, and with Hulzerk on the AWP, they're just going to wait out this AVEZ utility as the T side look to take outside control and make their way into secret.
Nice molly usage outside, plus the nade as well, doing a decent amount of damage already. They're going to head towards secret, where they might go for a straight push against Forest. Hulzerk is holding that outside towards main push, and is that nade gonna more damage on Naroth? He really does not like this utility coming out from Dignitas, but they are trying to hold the line. Does need to be a little bit careful because he could definitely get swarmed in the position that he's standing. There's the molly, forces him forward, is gonna go for the straight peek, gets one, almost gets the second, but Kyler does win that one with his UMP in hand. Exist auto sniper heading towards that B site, and he's gonna try and go for the pop shots. Gets 1 kill, but it was on the low Kyler, and it is gonna get traded out immediately by Kyler. It is a 3-on-3 sort of retake. They haven't planted the bomb just yet. They still do have 2 players up top, one towards ramp, and it does seem they're going to double down on ramp, one in fence, and Hulzerk with that op is looking for a player, will find one in Bialy, and Kai actually pushed the smoke, will not win the fight there. Marcos will lose as well, and they're just straight up losing all the duels on AVEZ. Every single one of them has been lost in that round, and with that, Dignitas are going to secure 10-5, taking a pretty decent PT side in their favor.
It looked worrying for a slight moment in this first half for Dignitas, but towards the end they streak 5 rounds consecutively and consolidate their half. Unfortunately for AVEZ, they weren't able to get 6, but 5 is not an impossible scoreline to utilize. If they win CT Pistol, they still have an opportunity to fight for this map, but our partners over at LootBet seem to think things have moved much more firmly into Dignitas's favor now, and if it is Dig who win this T-side pistol, I certainly do agree with them. Even though AVEZ are on the CT side, I have a feeling Dignitas are going to take this map either way.
Well, I do think that if AVEZ will take that pistol, it's actually going to go the other way around. So we have ourselves a 50-50 here in the caster seat. Who's going to be correct? A nice little betting duel. I always do like a good odd, of course. Or odds is definitely worth it for me. 1.2 is a little bit too risky in my eyes still. They are going to try and go for an aggressive peek towards ramp. There is actually no one from AVEZ on that ramp currently. They do have a player in Bialy holding it every once in a while, going for a peek. Might catch out Hulzerk, but they do spot each other out. And if they rush this ramp, that is pretty clear advantage for Dignitas right now. They can head towards that B site with ease.
And Forest has secret control as well. I'm not sure Norat's going to be aware of this one. He did have a little peek for a look to see if there were any players there, but he doesn't expect Forest to run around and rip his head to pieces. And Forest doesn't overextend either. It's Freiburg who goes in first to spot the Vents players and leaves the P250 to do the work. Halzerk gets a quick little double, and Marcos can reply at bare minimum with a single USP headshot, but they need to find 3 more heads, AVEZ, if they want to secure the second pistol of Nuke. Forest has taken Marcos down now, and Bialy has a kit, but no body armor. Exist spots him out as well. He has so much work to do in this retake, and he's being hunted down by the T's. Can't even find a single kill. Dignitas pick up 11.
Okay, my point was if they won the pistol. They didn't, so now I'm all on Dignitas side. But last half, it did start off with the T side winning the pistol, and then afterwards getting annihilated by the CT side. So maybe AVEZ can go for a nice force up. They're going to put Marcos on that scout and the rest on pistols. Most likely Deagles, not really 100% sure just yet, but they do have a decent amount of utility and will possibly go for a solid defense here. Of course, with the weaponry of Dignitas, it does mean that they are probably going to go for that fast play. Triple MAC-10s, Galil, and 1 AK in their hands. Respectively, it should still go in favor of Dignitas, but these Deagles on this crossfire can do a ton of damage.
HE, Norat is jumping around and looks to deploy it. Kai's found Freiburg in the head as well, and that utility has ripped Dignitas to pieces, but they've brought it back to a 4-on-4. Kai takes heavy damage, but also gets hit in the back of the head by Exist. He's lucky to be alive, and Bialy falls on the A site. Maybe now Dignitas reconsider their choices. They need to find this Heaven player, though, as Kyler can still deal damage in this round, and AVEZ, they're clearly not out of it yet. They're trying to rotate over and commit to a retake, but at bare minimum, this bomb is going to go down.
But there's so much damage dealt, so many players. I mean, a scout tag will kill off anyone. Most deed shots from a decent range will get them down as well. Exist is close. Should be careful. They're doubling up towards that vent as well. But it seems they're going to go for the save here, which, with the amount of damage that they've dealt, they probably don't know that they've done so much damage. Halzerk shuts down Marcos. Kai misses another deed shot. Just a body shot is all that's necessary, my friend. Does shut down Halzerk. That's the AK on the floor. Exist is going to jump wide. Will get shut down. But it is still the AK and Galil saved into the next round. So they did manage to keep their best weaponry alive.
12-5 up, and Dignitas hunting down 13 as AVEZ need to eco in round number 18. One of their strongest maps according to their win percentages and times played in the last 3 months, but Dignitas are manhandling them. AVEZ, they looked like they were able to contest that first half early on, but after that streak of 5 rounds and the pistol loss to boot, it could be too difficult. A 13-5 deficit is absolutely massive, and their only chance to come back from it would have to be a victory in the next gun round.
Our one right here. It is going to be still 2 Deagles at P250, and we've seen Dignitas do it with less, but it is still, as you said, very tough. Halzerk gets tagged very low, though. A lot of damage being dealt. Jiggle peeking constantly. They are going to go for that quick aggression towards the Heaven area. Close range. Kyler, does he expect him? He does shut down Freiburg. Okay, man advantage. 2-man advantage. Forrest is going to get shut down by Kai as well. Halzerk is still on 8 HP. Exists 64 and get right 100. But Kai peeks in, gets himself another one. 2 kills for the main top fragger, the hero player on the side of AVEZ, but he needs to continue that hero play momentum. Exist and Get Right both have an AK. They are 2 men down, but they do have the advantage of weaponry. Does spot a player towards Secret who just wanted to peek out wide, but there is... Guy is gonna get taken down. That's a big scalp to take. Up Heaven, Get Right gets himself 2 while he pushes towards that A site. However, Exist needs to get a plan going with Marcos. They're going to go down Secret. 25 seconds left. Marcos is already down below. If he gets a nice tap onto Get Right, that's the bomb drop. 20 seconds left for Exist. Could pick up the bomb. Probably rush towards A, honestly.
Yeah.
And that is going to be the plan of Exist. The B plant is going to be a little bit too risky. But is the rotation fast enough towards that A site to try and get and shut him down from Bialy?
I think Bialy may have just read this one. He's not quite quick enough, and Marquez knows he can't face because their whole strength in numbers is having two players exist, needs to be aware of heaven and shield himself from elsewhere. He saw Bialy, now converts the kill and looks for the clutch. The sigh of relief for the Dignitas side as AVEZ very nearly made that work with just a few deagles. Not even every player on body armor there. A very, very close round for the T side, but they do get through it and keep that pressure up. However, AVEZ, if they're doing that with the deagles, what are they going to be able to get done when they have the full guns out?
A very heavy damage. The economy of Dignitas is also pretty much destroyed after that round. I do have to say, Bialy, it was a weird move from Bialy in that round that he went for the peak before his teammate did, so they didn't double up. That means a slight little bit of a miscommunication there, trying to go for the 1v1 duels instead of just waiting for him to aggress and get close to site so that you can together chime in for that kill. But that is all in the past. Now it is on AVEZ to shut down Dignitas' push here. They are going to throw some smokes outside, so it does seem that they're going to go for some outside pressure. They do have to deal with Marcos' op, though, whereas they don't have an op themselves. Is there a gap to be seen? He doesn't seem to spot one out and is going to fall back towards ramp. Yeah, there's absolutely no gap to be spotted for AVEZ. Kai, close range, has the molly in hand. The moment he sees a peek coming in from Dignitas, should drop the molly and should immediately fall back. Give intel to his teammates that they need a little bit of help. Though Narot and Kai are very close range, both around the angle. There's going to be a peek from Kai. Peek and wide from Narot. They will get a 2-for-1 trade going, but Narot falls back. Fakes out that he jumped through control windows and almost gets rid of Kyler, who does need to make sure he doesn't die, because that would give a very quick rotation possibility for the side of Dignitas towards that A side. It does seem that it's going to be their plan, but do they expect to play towards second vents? It seems. Forrest gets sprayed down. He actually gets spooked because of it, but Bialy does manage to still get the kill onto Halzuk and then shut down Get Right in the end. That was just a little bit of a love tap to try and see if he gets spooked, and he actually did get bamboozled there, but it did pay off in the end for AVEZ nonetheless.
Yeah, they spray through the wall, but they don't actually expect anyone to be there because there's no immediate reaction. And because Bialy takes about 1 second before he actually swings out, both Dig players have turned away at that point. They're under so much time pressure in the round that they are basically wanting to believe that there's only one player on the A bomb site, turning around expecting it, and then unfortunately being punished. They won't continue their steamroll of dominance on Nuke, and it's a chance now for AVEZ to build up economy of their own. They would like to get through this with a minimum of 3 players, I should imagine, but that could still be a dangerous task. Forest has a deagle. Get Right with this AK as well. Exist has got body armor also to utilize in the round. They can take rifles away, Dignitas, and we know on the CT side they were able to convert rounds like this.
They definitely were off the back of Force or Freiburg, where they just went completely insane. Now up towards ramp, might get overwhelmed, needs a little bit of support. Spray is messy right there, and now will lose that one towards ramp, give away his rifle. There is still Kai, though, who will get at least one. Will try and go for the peek in wide to shut the rest down, but does not expect another player to have pushed from secret, it seems, because he definitely could get flanked easily. Does get a tag going in, but the scout shot from Halzuk. That is the player he did not see coming. Kyler versus Forrest will win that straight up duel, and it's now on Get Right and Halzuk to try and defend this bomb plant. Nice post plant positions coming in, though, but I think Bialy spotted out Halzuk going up.
He's got no body armor either, so as soon as Bialy hits him once, it's all over for Halzuk, and Get Right is now left at the bottom of this ramp. Smoke in his face. He has to guess the positioning correctly. He can actually see the diffuser at the moment if he swings round, but he can't quite get it done in time. It will be the victory for AVEZ, but nonetheless, it is quite expensive. 3 players killed, a bomb plant found by Dignitas. They're not going to be able to buy in this round, but it's not a terrible T-side round from them.
It's not too bad. They got a couple of guns dropped. They got the bomb plant in. They saved an AK on Get Right. They will be able to take some extra deagles into this round as well. 2 smokes, so they might go for an outside push, for instance. First, Get Right needs to make that AK do some work because he needs to get his teammates some extra weaponry. Marcos is going to try and deny outside, but Forrest is close range. Ooh, I only saw a head pop right there, and it got deleted by Marcos. So, a good opening kill for AVEZ. Of course, this is pretty much a nearly full eco on the side of Dignitas, so any damage dealt right now is going to be pretty big. Marcos does with that one. They rush down Secret, and they're heading towards that B side quickly. Kai, same angle every single time. This is his little cubby hole. Will get shut down by Get Right, the only one with an AK on the side of Dignitas, but they are not planting the bomb just yet. They do not know the positions coming in. Marcos will get rid of Get Right. Halzuk actually gets a double right there. Ooh. And Exist does not have bomb control, unfortunately, but will be able to pick up an M4. No armor on his back, though, and it is going to be Bialy trying to play that bomb game.
Exist has to be just perfect here, and he thinks Bialy's going aggressive, hunting for the kill, and it's the complete opposite to what is the truth in this round. Bialy currently sat as passively as he could possibly be, just keeping an eye on that bomb every now and then, but waiting for Exist to walk out of these double doors to pick up the bomb. He has the perfect lineup, and Exist would have to land a beautiful strafing headshot if he wanted to win out this engagement. Bialy's not going to miss the timing either by the looks of things, and it is able to finish off the clutch. Exist can deal no damage with the aim punch factor, and it's another expensive one for AVEZ, but it's a victory. However, they are going to be limited in what they can buy now, and Dignitas, they're bringing forward the full guns.
This is what we were talking about. The economy is just, it never really grew on the side of AVEZ. They are 5 rounds difference still between the 2 squads. It is definitely doable on the CT side, but it should start with this one, and they definitely need to make sure that they just keep their players alive, because it is getting way too costly every single time, and that doesn't start off nicely for the side of AVEZ. Peek out wide from Naruto as well. 2-man advantage in the first 20 seconds of this round, and it already looks problematic, to say the least, for the squad of AVEZ.
That is really upsetting for the Polish squad. They try for aggression at the start of the round, and Dignitas totally deny it. Exist on 12, but still up in the round. Double advantage. As long as Dignitas play slow, play together, this should be an easy conversion. It would need individual heroics from the AVEZ side to cling on to this one. Marcos is even going to aggress into Halzuk and gets taken down. The B-bomb site is now wide open, but Dignitas are dropping the Molotovs in A, and they are going to walk into the last remaining CT defenders.
They are double upped towards that A side, so it is possible with a nice crossfire. He just drops the bomb, but immediately gets the trade in, and it's going to be a 3 players alive on Dignitas. AVEZ, their money is gone, completely vanished. They have to force up, because of course, even with the full eco, they wouldn't have a buy next round. But this is a must-win round. Otherwise, this game is over.
You're absolutely right. 14-8 up with Dignitas chasing down map point at the moment. They are hungry for a victory on their pick and definitely expecting a spot in the grand finals today. Kai up close, could have found Exist briefly, but he's now safely down in those vents. Kai's been taken down by the Mac 10 now, and it is only pistols remaining for the AVEZ squad. Norat has taken the SMG away, however, and brought it back into a 4 versus 4 scenario, and we know AVEZ as well are capable of dealing damage with the Deagles.
Yeah, especially Kyler can go pretty big. North gets himself a second. That is a very nice round from him so far, but they still need a lot more damage dealt. They need to catch off these AVEZ players off guard. Force is going to be the last one staying towards the outside angle, but yeah, The damage has been dealt to AVEZ players. They are one bullet away from dropping. Close range fights against Deagles could definitely be won by AVEZ though, especially against this op from Halzerk, who is going pretty big this map. Look at that, 22 frags on the young Norwegian opper for Dignitas. Definitely the star performance that he should have. However, Get Right gets shut down by Bialy. Halzer comes in aggressive with that op. Close range opping. Always fun, but gets flanked by Kyler, and now the bomb is dropped. The last one gets shut down, and there is hope for AVEZ with Kyler getting himself another one in the round. The Deagles reign supreme, and Dignitas, they could go. They should probably go for it. A very small buy.
Honestly, I don't know why teams don't just use full Deagles and utility just as the actual meta at this point in time, because it seems to always be the case that it is these pistol rounds that bail teams out at the end of the map. They're always able to deny the quick finish with Deagle rounds, break up some T-side momentum, and then it's when they switch back onto the rifles that they seem to have the trouble. It just, I think, goes to show what is wrong with the CSGO economy meta at the moment. That is wonderful from Get Right, though. No one expects Exist to be so aggressive as well. Another double entry now for Dignitas. It might be around late, but perhaps map point is on the way.
Well, not if Kyla has anything to say about it. Kai as well outside towards red. There are 3 players from Dignitas aggressing forward. They're running past him. The MAC-10 doesn't do a lot of damage to that. Famas needs to hit 1 bullet onto Halzerk to drop him, but will whiff it. The bomb was dropped inside the smoke. Bialy does hear the jump coming through. It is very possible with the damage dealt to these Dignitas players, but they really need to win this one quick. It is all on Kyler and Bialy. They haven't planted the bomb just yet. Still 50 seconds on the clock though, and Kyler's actually creeping up forward towards that B site. Might catch them off guard if they don't check the railing up top. They did spot him out there. Get Right. Yep, and he gives the call that he's right above them. And with that, they should get the bomb planted. In 1v3, Bialy, he needs to win this one for his team. He needs that hero play. It is going to be massively problematic though for the poll. We'll start off by taking out Freiburg, the highest HP player, but it is still nearly impossible unless Dignitas give him an opening, and Get Right isn't gonna give him anything. Shuts down Bialy. That is 6 map points for Dignitas.
15-9 for the veteran squad, and now it's just Pistols that stand between them and a 1-map advantage in our first semi-final of the day. AVEZ trying to stay alive here on Nuke, and they just have Pistols and a Scout to work with. 2 smokes, 2 flashes, and 2 HEs make up all of the utility for the Polish squad, and Dignitas, are they able to close the door now?
That is a pretty big question because, of course, those Deagles have been amazing so far. Kai is playing that aggressive outside position. Hasn't had the performance he has had yesterday so far. Does spot a player out, but misses the shot onto Exist, who then returns the favor by taking away his scalp. And that is a nice opener for Dignitas on what is possibly the last round of this half. Get Right's even holding the complete flank because he does expect them to get aggressive to try and get a little bit of information play going on. Kyler outside trying to get some pop shots in, but has to fall back because they are completely blind. The utility has been pretty outstanding here for Dignitas outside. Kyler gets flashed off the angle, gets a tag in, but that is all he's going to get done because he gets shut down by Exist, who starts that final round off with a double.
3 Deagles remain. AVEZ desperate to hold on, but Bialy's taken down without a kill. Norak can get 1 with a decent headshot onto Freiburg, and Marcos is in the vents as well. They can make it messy, but Marcos would need 4 incredible shots, and Exist make sure he is allowed 9. Dignitas take the opening map 16-9 and secure a map advantage at the beginning of this semi-final. We have Vertigo coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this quick break.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best pickle fights I've been to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. It looked rather close in the opening half of Nuke at a 5-5 scoreline on the T side. We thought AVEZ would put out a decent performance, but eventually the Swedes woke up from Dignitas and put AVEZ to bed. 16-9 on their map pick, and now we head to AVEZ's pick of Vertigo, where they will be fighting for survival in this semi-final. My name is Protalis, and talking you through this next map with me is DK Truman. How you doing?
I'm pretty hot and pretty excited because that map, number one, was a it was a struggle for both teams pretty much. You saw a lot of pistols and deagle conversion rounds, which was absolutely insane. What also was insane was that Halzer's KD on that first map, 23-15, really stepping up to the plate and finally showing that star level opping that we are supposed to see from him. And on the opposing side, we have AVEZ, their top fragger, which of course is going to be Marcos, which is also the opper. So we really do have a divide between the oppers on who's the best player of each team currently, which is on a map like Nuke. Yes, there's a lot of opping going on, but I don't remember how Marcos getting that many ops that game.
It must have been the majority of the time on the T side. Either way, it is interesting to see that it is the two AWPers who are leading the way in series. And I think the key difference is that Marcos, on that T side, he was even doing well with the rifles and the lesser upgraded weaponry. He had, I think, just over 15 kills at the end of the first half even for AVEZ. The problem for the Polish squad was that they weren't able to bring the rest of their players online. It was just Marcos really doing the majority of the work in terms of fragging. Now, when it got to the later stages in the first half, switching into the second half, that's when players like Kyler and Kai started to come online, but it was too late at that point in time for AVEZ. And Dignitas, while they had Halzerk out in the league, they had Freiburg and Forest as well chiming in with high levels of individual impact. And heading forward onto Vertigo, it's a map that is so heavily predicated on entry fragging that the players from AVEZ really are going to need to. We are about to get underway with this second map. Dignitas versus AVEZ. Can the Poles stay alive and force us to train as the decider?
Yeah, it's a very T-sided map in the pool, of course. So that gives you a lot of freedom if you're a terrorist to try and get your squad on a site. It's normally the A site, like about 80% of the attacks are on the A side. Mid usually gets completely skipped over by teams on this map, and sometimes you see B execute, but there's a reason why they most of the time go A, because B is really hard to take from most, because there's so many angles that a CT can hide in, and you need to spend a pretty decent amount of utility just to flush out one small angle on that T side, CT side.
Indeed, you are absolutely right, as usual. And the first map, or the second map rather, the first round of it is about to get underway. Dignitas up against AVEZ, and our partners over at LootBet, they seem to think it is a total coin toss on this map. AVEZ picking it should have the advantage, but way back in May, I think it was, Dig did put 11 rounds on against Vitality, who are one of the better Vertigo teams in the world. They're trying to overwhelm the B stairs, but Norot has completely denied them.
I actually triple opt on that B stack for AVEZ, which is pretty surprising. Halzerk peeking in, will turn his back to Marcos while he walks up to him, and that puts Exist and Forest, the last two remaining players for Dignitas, alive. Not looking like a solid start of their T side. They are still playing 2B, 2A, and 1 towards that middle area for AVEZ. It does seem that they just were pretty much bent on retaking that A site. I mean, without decent utility from the T's, it is pretty easy to retake that A site as well. Force does get a kill onto Bialy, so it gives them a little bit of a chance in this round. They both have themselves P250s on Force and Exist, so those long-range tap fights can definitely go in favor of the T's as well now.
The P250s Exist hasn't got body armor supporting his pistol, but they've crept into the B-bomb site. Exist has, but Kyler's just shut him down completely. It was Forrest rather in mid. The result is still the same. A double kill from Kyler, and the pistol round of Vertigo going the way of AVEZ. Over on Nuke, it was Dignitas who were able to convert the second round, but absent a bomb plant, they are still going to be forcing forward, but it's just pistols and armor. Not impossible for Dig, but very difficult on a map so predicated on the entry fragging as Vertigo.
As always, what you expect from Halzerk, he's keeping an extra 700 in his back pocket so that if they lose this one and the next one, he at least has a full an op into the third round, which this map does have decent op angles, especially towards that A ramp, and you can get a quick peek in towards mid. But Freiburg actually gets a kill onto Kyler to start it off with. That is dangerous. Bialy's gonna peek out wide, gets one, but gets traded by Halzerk, and that is a man advantage coming in from Dignitas. Is this gonna be the reversal again? Halzerk does have that mid control right now and is waiting for K to peek into him. Spray comes through. K with the jiggle peek will get dinked, but not lose his life yet. 3 HP on the CT player. There's going to be the defense coming in from AVEZ on that A site, but they're heading towards... on that B side, but they're triple stacking B while the bomb is almost on A already, and that is a free bomb plant coming in for Dignitas, which is already... well, that depends actually if Exist is going to plant it in time, because he is giving them a lot of time to rotate, and he's very spooked. He did not expect them to be on that B site, it seems, but they are going to go for the plant nonetheless. Get right holding the angle with the scout. Exist should be able to fall back. There is one smoke left on AVEZ. He's going to peek out wide, and the smoke gets dropped. K gets taken out. A 2-on-2, very doable for Dignitas to defend the bomb plant.
Time ticking down, AVEZ, they need to move forward. Marcos has a kit, thankfully, and that scout from Get Right, it's landed a shot before being taken down, but Exist, he really needs to stay alive on this FAMAS. He's such an important piece of firepower. Get Right with that follow-up kill, though. That scout now is basically an AWP against Marcos, and he does not want to commit to the engagement. Flees back to save the M4. Dignitas, 2 consecutive maps and 2 consecutive second-round conversions to grant themselves perhaps some early economic bonuses.
Yeah, that was a nice round coming in. They actually, on Dignitas side, all have 1 frag so far, so spreading out the kills on their squad, but that was a solid start of the round, especially the fact that Halzer kept them distracted in mid, and they just forced them to rotate towards B, giving away A for free to the Dignitas squad, and they got on site without any issues at all. And with K being solo, he could not get that much done. Naked's thrown up, but Bialy cleans up for us. There's going to be the trade in from Halzer. Peeks in wide, does get a little tag against him, but that will be the... yeah, he'll just toss away that rifle, so they will not be able to pick up the FAMAS later. But it is still definitely very doable. Kyler is playing off-angle stairs. This very rarely does get cleared out by T's when they're pushing that B site. So that is a very possible kill coming in for Kyler soon. Exist holding the A ramp. But they are going to peek into him, double peek him, and he gets taken down. They fall back. That's a man advantage again for AVEZ.
Perfectly played by the CT side. They peek all 3 Deagles together, and they only have to land a body shot each to take down Exist in that scenario. However, the problem is that they've rotated away. They hear a Molotov and will come straight back at least, but they might just be sending someone to B. Instead, Bialy sticks around with this M4, so it's going to be a 3-on-3 engagement in the close site. Kai up close and personal is removed by Halzerk's headshot, and he takes damage through the smoke, but Get Right can punish the traces from Bialy much more severely than Bialy can deal damage to the Dignitas side. On 13, Norat, he might just be saving this M4. Kyler's found a FAMAS on the flank, though, and taken down Freiburg. That makes this potentially doable, and AVEZ are definitely considering it.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough for Kyler still, though. No kit on him. There might be one lingering around the site. But the flash peek from Get Right will get rid of Kyler, and Dignitas will secure themselves round number 3 in their favor and put AVEZ on an eco. Very close round from AVEZ. Did a lot of work, but unfortunately was not able to convert it into a win after that spray down through the smoke towards on the A site.
And this is Dignitas now. having the opening round streak of Vertigo as well. Definitely not a scenario that AVEZ would have wanted to be in, especially after that pistol round victory, but there's just nothing they can do against the Dignitas side, at least at the start of Vertigo, as Kyler will be going aggressive towards those B stairs again. Definitely thinking about having a peek, but won't swing too far. Instead, backs away and sits beneath the stairs as Dignitas await CT aggression before pushing into a bomb site.
Yeah, it's going to be the execute towards A, most likely. They are holding their flanks really well on Dignitas. They're afraid of this AVEZ aggression. I mean, they are a Polish squad, so they do have a lot of aggression. They are roaming around, just like on their last round, the Deagle round. They're sticking together so that they always have a man advantage pretty much when you go for the straight peak, and might be able to overwhelm their opponents. It is going to be that A plant coming in soon. Could get some damage done through the smoke, but don't really see them have a solid chance here. Taps through the smoke, and that's a nice kill for Exist. They jump through, immediately get annihilated, just absolutely decimated, and that is going to be pretty much most likely nothing done by Kyler, but a very easy round for Dignitas.
Yeah, Kyler, if he pushed in here, what can you accomplish? He doesn't even have body armor to support this USPS. He's just going to get shredded to pieces. That's a fact. His only option to have late round impact is to sit, hide, and hope he can get a cheeky double dink in on one of these Dig players and then escape the bomb site with their weapon. It looks as though they are going to be pushing down into him eventually. They do expect him to be back here as he does tag down Exist. Forest removes him from the round before the bomb explodes. So Dignitas convert that 3-round at the start of Vertigo here on their T side, and AVEZ with the first full gun round now coming through. It's going to be a scrappy buy even. There's very limited utility available, but they have all the smokes, and I think that is the most important part of a Vertigo defense.
They don't have a single kit, so that is probably going to be dangerous if they're not careful. I am actually kind of surprised. AVEZ won the knife round, and they chose to go for the CT side. A lot of teams do this, but AVEZ, I've definitely been more impressed on their T sides in previous maps than on their CT side, and especially a map like Vertigo. It is reasonably T-sided, so they must feel very comfortable on their CT side if they're going to choose it over the T.
Must be the case. And those smokes have been held on. They're so important to have, especially on the A bomb site, because if you let Dignitas just creep up, they're going to drop that wall of smokes to allow themselves a bomb plant, and you just have no option. Nora has just been ruined. The second he gets the sandbags, they deploy the Molotov, which makes him drop his smoke to hold on to the position. Now they're going to expect Kai at close range, as this is the crossfire you tend to utilize on the CT side. Exist is just waiting for him to take one step forward so he can rip the head off. Instead, Kai is going to continue to jiggle as Norat backs away to support his rifler in scaffolding. Kai is going to go for an aggressive peek and be ruined by Freiburg.
Kai again getting absolutely decimated by Dignitas. 1 kill so far. This has not been his series against the Swedish powerhouse squad. Exist versus Norat. He needs to win that fight on Norat. He does swing in nicely, getting the headshot onto Exist. They're going to push towards site, but they do have to deal with the player towards full. Exactly, that's why no one is even paying attention to the fact that he's still full. But Forrest on the flank comes through mid, and they will manage to turn that one around. Forrest completely turns that map upside down. I mean, they had no idea. I had no idea that he was coming in with the flank, and Dignitas get themselves their 4th on the board.
Championship level flank there from Forest as Norat drops that bomb. It gets so dangerous in the site, but then you realize it could all have just been a bait for Forest as he walks in and cleans them up in the back lines. AVEZ drop down onto the eco. Only 3 players with body armor as Dig chase down a quick 5th round. Exist as ruin Kyler at close range and earn some bonus cash with a Mac 10. Halter might be able to follow it up onto Markos as well, and that's a 3B bomb site for this Dig side. Get Right still cleaning up kills on the ramp though, and AVEZ, they really have little to say about this round.
Get Right is almost tracing Bialy right there through the smoke. His crosshair is following him around, so that was really interesting to watch. Does not get a single tag. That's even more surprising. Kai does get a headshot in on Exist, though. Utility flying in. There's a lot of damage dealt to Halzuk and Get Right. So Kai might have a shot to at least drop another one. And with the flank coming in soon enough from Bialy, they might have something. Never mind, Freiburg gets rid of Bialy and Halzuk chimes in to kill Kai. And that's 5 for Dignitas versus AVEZ.
A strong T-side lead now for Dignitas, and AVEZ starting to sweat a little bit. It wasn't supposed to go this way on their own map pick of all places. And this was the issue for AVEZ at the start of the series. You just never know which way you can take it because Dignitas have been on that player break. There's very little evidence to work with, and they could have taken out Vertigo if they wanted to. They chose instead to remove Overpass, knowing it was AVEZ's stronger map, and they are performing well on the T side at the moment. CT utility being burned down early already, as only 3 smokes remain for the CT side.
Dignitas is looking like they never went on that break and have just continuously been playing because they've been looking really good so far this tournament. Peek out is gonna get dodged by their opponent, but Halzuk with that shot. Unfortunately, they will chime in for 1-for-1 trade. Marcos is not gonna lose that duel against Forrest. Shuts him down. A man advantage now for AVEZ and a lot of HP advantage as well. Kyla on that B side. There is a rotation quickly from Marcos, who was mid. They're gonna go for the boost peak. Molly is... That was weird. Molly didn't get extinguished, but he still got a lot of burn damage on him. Kind of down to 9 HP. Got a little bit CSGO'd right there.
I'm wondering whether the Molotov landed at a close enough angle that the smoke was deployed just too far to the left to collapse in on the spread of those flames. There's only 2 players in this B-bomb site, as they have successfully drawn rotations over to A, and they've trampled the defenses early in B. There is Bialy sticking around with an M4A4, but it's full retake mode now for Dignitas as Halzuk secures the plant. Kai might drop a Molotov that takes him down. That's the vital frag from Bialy, though. Takes down Freiburg and nearly finds the AWPer, but Halzuk goes big at the late moment in the round and leaves Kai in a 1-on-2 clutch.
Yeah, some say Bialy is still falling down. Right now, it is Halzuk holding that line, but there still exists down below, and Halzuk even goes for the aggressive peak. 9-1-2, absolutely beast mode this series so far on the Opper.
Now we have the opportunity to talk about our case partners over at Hellcase. If you use the codes MaltaV and MaltaV15, you can save more and grab what you deserve with Hellcase. AVEZ, they have to drop down onto the pistols yet again on their CT side as Dignitas continue a dominant streak of rounds, and the more they win, the more flush their cash is going to get as well. Halzuk, the AWPer for this T side with 10k in the bank.
Oh, just swapping away from his AK right there, Freiburg. You know, I want to brush up on one very important factor, and that is the fact that AVEZ won the pistol round. And they've lost 6 rounds consecutively afterwards. Their CT side is not as wonderful so far. The Dignitas teams might just be a little bit too strong. They are already a map down on AVEZ. They need to turn this one around quick, because if they do manage to give Dignitas too many, at one point Dignitas is just going to run away with the map. It is still very possible to turn this one around, but not if Freiburg chimes in with kills like that. Bialy's already down in the dirt. Kai taking some nade damage against him. They're just going to go for the straight peaks, and Dignitas keep winning these duels. Freiburg is going big. 4K so far. 1 more needed for the full ace, but those taps coming in, I mean, headshot machine right there.
Absolute insanity. He's just clicking on the heads all day long. Could even click on another one here. He's actually spotted out Nora, and he's going to pop the nade in. It would have taken Freiburg down anyway if the shot didn't, I believe. So Ace sadly denied for the Banana King, but the flank from Forrest is what takes Nora down. 7-1 lead for Dignitas on AVEZ's map pick. This is not supposed to happen. if you are on the Polish side. And if they don't stabilize now and win at least 6 rounds in total for the half, they are going to be in a nightmarish spot.
Yeah, it's their map pick, it's their side pick as well. So it's pretty much exactly what they wanted to have, and it just gets absolutely decimated so far. There's going to be the off peak. Marcos is going to whiff it against Halsek thanks to the flash coming in. Guy is actually picked up an op as well, and he's going to be playing that aggressive position. But Get Right versus Naurot. Get Right does know that someone's around that area, most likely. This could be a spray fight coming in. Halsek gets rid of Kai. That's on the opper. Wait, he already get nuked? Okay, that's Nauro does chime in with a kill himself, so one-man advantage. A decent amount of damage dealt to exist, but they do have an even score right now, 3-3 with the utility. I mean, there's still a decent amount, but not that great. They do have 3 smokes on the side of Dignitas, so can go for a full execute towards one of the sites.
AVEZ can't even commit into A either. On so many rounds, Dignitas have pressured that early ramp, found the opening kills, and then just run around and hit the B bomb site as these AVEZ players are rotating in mid. It's Bialy exploiting that, trying to aggress and confirm that there is no B presence, and Marcos at close range has to find Forest. This is a must-win engagement on the bomb site if AVEZ want to get their second round, and Forest has to peek this dry. There's no utility, but Marcos is backed away at the wrong time, has to take a more passive angle, gives away his position, but Bialy's here on the flank already, whiffs his opportunity though. Nat gives his position away, but Marcos has taken down Halzerk. Forest can't punish through the smoke, and this could be a victory for AVEZ unless Exist can get up into the site and make some noise. Kyler in front of him now, looking to deny the plant, as Bialy on the flank is the man who accomplishes that goal. Forest now needs to recover the bomb and find 2 kills. He's going to plant in the smoke, and Kyler and Bialy are able to deny. AVEZ picked up their second, but Dignitas are still able to bring the guns out.
Finally, AVEZ win themselves around with the double op setup. They did not get really any much use out of Kai's op adventure right there, but they did turn it around with a great flank coming in. It's kind of surprising that they did not know that the flank was coming in. I mean, his teammate just got shot from lower ramp. They should have had the intel right there on the side of Dignitas. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication.
Yeah.
Or did not expect the bullets to come from down below. But it is going to be Nahrut and Marcos both chiming in with a kill. Start the round off with Get Right. This might be pretty big for them. Nahrut is going to try and hug Get Right, but he doesn't want any hugs from Nahrut. There's going to be a little bit of nade damage thrown out, but it's not even going to connect to anyone. A very possible round here for AVEZ. They do need to be careful, of course, that they don't get overwhelmed, because they are playing 2A, 2B, so the 2 players towards that A site can definitely get pushed quickly and pushed off the site with their smokes and Molly still left in hand on Dignitas.
They're just walking in dry as well from Dig, really exploiting how passive this play is from AVEZ. They're basically playing a retake setup, trying to punish over aggression with an AWP on the tight corner, looking to explode out and potentially punish a bomb plant with a shot through the box, I think is the current strategy. Otherwise, it's just all on retake time in this bomb site. Halzerk drops the opening smoke, but the bomb is still fairly far away from the site. Second smoke dropped, and Get Right deciding where he wants to plant before committing. Looks like he's going to be able to get the bomb down and away from that Molotov. Nade lands straight on the head of Kai as well, and AVEZ, it's time for the retake with 2 M4s and 2 AWPs to secure their third round.
Yeah, but the most important piece that they have is all their utility still left on AVEZ, whereas Dignitas only have 1 flash, so they can definitely clean out some quarters. The spray now coming through, taking out Kai. Get Right has the lineup completely, and now it is going to be Get Right getting himself in double. The Molly's going to hold him off. They jump away from the bomb, and it's all on Kyler. He has to fall back. The bomb's going to go kablooey, and it is another round 1 for Dignitas. 8-2. They don't even lose Get Right there. 1 HP on the Swede. Will manage to keep the gun into the next round.
4v3 retake, and AVEZ are unable to get a single kill. Get Right just dispatching Kai through the wall, and then the shots come through quickly thereafter for Dignitas. They upset AVEZ greatly in that round. Kyler's still got his AK, but it's a save from the rest of the team as Dignitas are showing no mercy whatsoever on this T side, having an absolutely dominant tear of the beginning of this map. Horzerk with an opener. Existers followed it up, but Kai and Bialy are doing well to get these opening kills. They are making it a costly round for Dignitas, but at this point in the half, it might not make too much difference as Bialy only on 6 HP. The economy for Dignitas is in a great spot, but I'm not sure they have bomb control. Exist is a bit paranoid that someone might push down into it, and they don't really want to walk into a deagle crosshair now.
It is kind of scary right now. Bialy does and Naurat are both towards that mid area, so the bomb is in range pretty much. If he just spots it down below, Dignitas is just going to be playing the clock, try and get some intel here from AVEZ or make them second guess themselves. And it does seem like they're second guessing themselves. They're heading towards that A site because it is the more likely site to be taken. But so far, Dignitas have played a pretty decent amount of A and B strats in their T side of Vertigo.
It looks like they're tilting towards B as well with the position of the bomb and Freiburg holding the B stairs. They are just going to clear out their own spawn. They've got no time is the real issue. They've waited too long for these AVEZ players to push, and they put themselves in a really tough spot now. I'm not quite sure whether Norat's been able to hear the sound cues. I think he has as he's rotating into the B bomb site, and Bialy's coming in rather quickly as well. They know this is the site being executed into, and Norat gives his position away with that AK, but he denies the plant, leaves it all on Freiburg against Bialy, but he finds that kill. Lightning fast. Bialy's not allowed to retreat. It's a close one, but Dignitas still take it.
A little BM right at the end. The bomb gets dropped, so they think, oh, we've got the round win, but they just don't keep their players alive long enough because Freiburg goes for the quick hunt, and Freiburg again clutches it out. 13 kills on him so far. He has also been stepping it up completely in this series. I mean, the entirety of Dignitas just look a lot fresher than AVEZ right now. They look more awake, more ready for these fights, for these duels. And AVEZ, they really need Kai to start stepping it up and not Naurat to peek right into the bullet spray of Exist. That's one of the oppers down. Marcos does have the other one though, but Marcos is all the way to... Oh, is actually rotating towards the A site right now. Kai is playing close angles. Does he spot get right? Does get right, but no refrag potential coming in for the CT, so he will be able to fall back as well. Pick up that op.
CSGO, what the hell are you doing? What is this game? Get right, his arm just goes through the wall there, and that allows him to be picked off by the player on the A bomb site. That is so ridiculous that Get Right has died to that situation. Absolute insanity, but it has allowed AVEZ a way back into this round at bare minimum. It's 4-on-4, but they've basically backed away from the B bomb site, favoring a mid-hold instead and leaving Kyler under an intense amount of pressure. Bialy is rotating in, but it's Kyler at the point of contact, needs at least one headshot.
Yeah, he's going to be quite nice. Flash coming out. A lot of damage has been done. Going for the triple spray down. Kyler, another flash coming through, and it's all on Forrest. He does have an AK in his hand, so he's probably going to go for that save because the economy on their side is not too great. But, okay, he's trying to pick up the bomb, but he's just going to straight up sacrifice his life. Probably should have just gone for the save there because he, as you can see, he had no money left.
I'm not sure whether Dignitas are just confident that they have enough to buy for the rest of this map, or at least this half, rather. It's round number 13 now. They've got to buy forward. If they lose this, they might be stretched, but they'll still be able to buy in the last, should they eco this upcoming round with a loss. So their economy, the AK would have been useful to be saved forward. You are correct, but I feel as though they have the confidence to just continue moving forward here. Norat is just ruined again by Freiburg. 15 HP remaining for the T-side rifler, but he's found the opening kill in his team's favor. Bialy now looking for a mid-take. He gets ripped to pieces by Horzerk's headshot. And Forrest now, I'm not sure whether he spotted the jump there of Marcos. I don't think he quite has the info, but it's another double man advantage for Dignitas either way.
Does they haven't given away what site they're hedging towards right now on Dignitas. They do pick up the bomb, and it does seem that they are going for that A push. Kyla could get a very quick flank in, though, and it doesn't seem they're aware of it at all. Yeah, this might be pretty big. If he can get a double for himself and stay alive, that could completely destroy this Dignitas push. Freiburg actually does expect someone to come in from behind.
Kai at close range. It's a common spot, so he needs to go big from it. Get right, though, hasn't spotted him out at long range. They're trying to trade him, and he is eventually going to fall. Can't get any more than his one frag, and Kyla needs to use positional awareness. He does not expect Freiburg to be so passively behind the rest of his team. And now Marcos, with this AWP, is on the A bomb site, but Freiburg's just run into B. He can communicate to his team, guys, don't walk into Marcos's AWP on A. Let's take the bomb B. It's actually free on this side of the map, and it looks like, oh, this is dangerous, Forest. If that shot wasn't whiffed from Marcos, it could have been a dangerous round here for Dignitas. Instead, they're going to plant on A, and now Marcos needs to pull off this one on 4.
Yeah, Marcos was caught between two pushes, and there was pretty much nothing he could get done there. But Freiburg, what a read down below. I mean, that flank hold, you would never expect to peek that one if you're a CT flanking. And that is 10-3 Dignitas. It looks like the T side of Vertigo is completely their hometown. They let this one through for a reason. AVEZ, they did not expect such a shutdown. I didn't expect such a shutdown from Dignitas on such a solid map for AVEZ normally.
It's just the first half as well. The dominance could still be continuing for this Dignitas side. As the map continues, there's a lot of utility dumped to the bottom of the A ramp in the penultimate round of this first half. A completely blind Norit is trying to exploit that fact, but he cannot get anything done with his MP9 and instead just falls early on. Man advantage now as Ketright continues to spam down Bialy as well. Aggressive is Kai now, trying to use this gap in the smoke, but Dig have backed away far enough. Holzerk, he sticks around slightly too long, and that allows Kai to get a kill back, but with this smoke now dissipated, Dignitas are going to focus on B instead. Marcos is here with the only AWP for the CT side, rather, and he has spotted out Freiburg. Excellent flick shot lands to bring it back in a 3-on-3. Kyla wins the mid engagement as well, and Dignitas, they start to collapse after the double entry.
Yeah, all of a sudden, all three players chime in for quick kills coming through. Get Right is towards that A site. Okay, that's an interesting smoke coming through from... yeah, that's just a weird one-way smoke. I don't know if it was intentional or... what, but Get Right is going to be picking up that op, and it does seem that guy is going to get another flanking push, gets another shutdown coming in, and finally, it's looking pretty good here for AVEZ, taking down Exist in the end. Kylar will secure his team. They're fourth on the board, and they need this last one because it is still a pretty tough game. You have to break that Dignitas defense, and after a pretty weak start on the previous map, Nuke, their CT side did start to get better and better. However, as previously mentioned, AVEZ, a super solid T side team, especially on a map like Vertigo where the T side is normally favored. You do have to be very careful for Dignitas because they can definitely still turn this game in their favor.
Double digits at minimum for Dignitas in the half. 10-5 was what they accomplished on Nuke in the opening stages. Can they outperform themselves in the second map of the semi-final? Well, Kyla's looking to deny that opportunity as Marcos rings out with a shot as well. The double mid-hold working out for the Polish squad, and now Get Right, Exist and Freiburg are left to try and salvage the last round of the half. They're creeping up that A ramp where Norit and Kai hold in the defense. 5 players still alive for AVEZ, and a good chance they'll get a 5th round as well.
Yeah, this is great angles as well. They're not going to molly. They do have a molly on Freiburg, so they could molly on sandbags, but they're not going to use it. And the peak white comes out. A lot of damage being dealt towards Fold. Now it shuts him down, and that is going to be 5 on the board for AVEZ. Not too bad of a first half, but definitely not what they were looking for when they chose to start on that CT side.
Not at all. AVEZ switching over to the T side. They are now in a desperate position. Our partners over at Lootbet are very confident indeed that Dignitas are going to be able to take this series in 2 maps. Freiburg, Getright, and Holzerk, the men leading the charge for Dignitas, and if they secure this second pistol round, AVEZ are going to be in the nightmare spot just as they were on Nuke.
This is a very crucial pistol round right now. Holzerk is going to peek in to spot out any A ramp pushers coming out. It should most likely be an A ramp with Kyla trying to be distracting towards that B site. And without any real A defenders here for Dignitas, they're going to forfeit the site. Will probably go for the retake. They do have 2 HE grenades, a smoke, a flash, and a kit on their side. So if there's, for instance, a bomb plant coming in from AVEZ, you could double nuke that bomb planter very easily, which is a solid strat a lot of people do use on this map.
They're creeping in close. AVEZ, they have the advanced positioning, and they've dropped their second smoke to allow for a bomb plant as well. That's going to cause Holzerk to just reposition and try and look over the top of these smokes. Marcos seems to expect it, though, and they've actually sacrificed a lot of site control, but they've kept all the players alive on this Dignitas side. They still have 2 HEs available as well. Against pistol players, 2 of which are unarmored, that could be huge. There's a mid-flank on the way, and Dig, that means they need to go quickly into the site, or they are going to be at risk. Kyla in the backlines, double headshot. That's all the impact he needs. His team should be able to clean this one up now, as Freiburg and Getright are trying to run in. Kai denies them both with a double Glock headshot, and Dignitas, they can't hold on to the pistol. AVEZ staying alive on their map pick.
Yeah, now the game does commence. Well, I'm saying that, but Dignitas could definitely go for the, you know, but they've done multiple times so far already. They just win the round afterwards. They definitely will need to make sure that AVEZ doesn't get the ball rolling, because they are a very plow-heavy squad. They do like to get that momentum going and just keep rolling over their opponents. Very aggressive squad as well. They do have quick pushes coming in, but this will look like a more passive hold. Try and hold that flank. The push is coming out. Freiburg with that deagle trying to get some pops through the smoke, see if he can get a random headshot somewhere or some damage dealt. But it does seem that AVEZ is going to give them a lot of time. Kai does take some damage there. Kai has to be careful with that long range. I mean, they have been insane on pistols for Dignitas so far. Remember the USP clutch. The deagle's coming in through. Holzer gets himself a kill onto Nauro. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Not something you want to have happen to you if you're AVEZ.
The AKs are still engaging at long range, but Dignitas, at bare minimum, have eaten up a lot of time here. If they can just keep AVEZ at the bottom of this A ramp, they can put them under a lot of time pressure for the execution later on. Exist is going to land another shot before having to fall back, as he has been dinked, and AVEZ are aware of this time scenario, it seems. They're going to flash Exist over, and he can't get any kills off the back of it. That's the man advantage now towards AVEZ, as the nade put Kai on just 16. Holzer could convert a kill here through the smoke, but doesn't go for the spam. Instead, more nades deal damage, but shots missing there from Forest. It's all on these last 2 deagles, and get right down through smoke. It's all over in the second round of the second half. AVEZ pick up 7. They are facing an eco in the next, which should be 8, and Dignitas still have a chance to deny the tie, just not in this round.
Yeah, that's problematic for Dignitas. This should be 8 on the board coming up very soon, unless the USPs do manage to clutch it out. On a map like Nuke, it is more possible to get a USP clutch on the CT side than it is on this map, because you do normally get pretty swarmed here. They are going to push in towards mid. Marcos does fall back. Needs to swap to the deagle, loses the fight against Forrest in the end. Get right, tried to get aggressive towards B. The spray down is pretty much whiffing from Kyla, but eventually he has enough bullets in the magazine to finish it off. And it does look like it's going to be a B play in for AVEZ to secure this round pretty easily. Kyla will get that last kill onto Freiburg. He's going to peek wide. It is going to be Kyla who gets 3 for himself, Marcos 2, and an easy round win for AVEZ.
This is where the guns come out then for the Dignitas side. Hulzer can't have head armor, but that really isn't going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things unless Nora runs around a corner and rips his head to pieces. The CT AWP available and a decent amount of utility for Dignitas as well. They have an opportunity to deny the AVEZ comeback here and start pushing back against this T side Tide. All they have to do is hold on to this gun round in round number 19. Early commitment towards the ramp, but it's Get Right over instead who finds the opening kill towards the B bomb site, removes Kyler from proceedings very early on and gets even more aggressive.
Yeah, Get Right really is feeling it right now. This is one hell of an aggressive position coming through. It does seem that Nora does expect it. They spot each other out. Get Right does need to be careful because he is at the moment the only one towards that B site, and he definitely can get rushed down if not careful, but they're all getting aggressive on Dignitas. They're boosting towards mid, double stacking up in mid as well. They're just letting A pretty much slide, which is going to be the site AVEZ are going to try and take. The utility on AVEZ is massive. The utility on Dignitas is lackluster at best. They have one flash, one molly, and that is all they've got. They don't even have a kit on their side, so this is going to be a pretty big aim duel fight coming in. They do have a man advantage, so that's 1+, and they could go for the spray through the smoke play. It is going to be Noro beating out Forrest right there, and Bialy chiming in on a kill of Freiburg. So all of a sudden, never mind, Alzog does even it out, goes with the op into the fray. It's a 3-on-3, one flash in hand. The utility on the side of AVEZ is pretty much gone as well. They also have one flash, so it is definitely possible right now, but you do need to hurry up because the time is ticking down. Protalis.
They're waiting for the smokes to clear before advancing. Kai trying to do what Get Right did in rounds prior, but unable to find success. Nora will get exist, and Bialy finds Hulzerk. Get Right left alone, knows he has no time to commit to this one, and is just going to look for the late round kills. He's trying to recover an AWP, but Bialy with a total denial. AVEZ wide awake now on Vertigo as they've all but recovered from the first half, hunting down 10-10 in quick fashion. Dignitas, they have to take an eco and save for the next gun round.
Yeah, that's well, they do have a decent amount of weapons. Of course, they can buy some deagles here and there and see if they can make some magic happen on the Dignitas squad, but that was an unfortunate round for them to win. They just lacked the utility to defend the site at one point, and that's where AVEZ's net worth, their economy advantage comes into play, because they had everything they wanted to start the round off with.
No body armor on any player bar Freiburg for the CT side. And AVEZ have done a much better job at holding on to their early utility this time. It was the Dignitas early expenditure in the last round, which you sort of have to commit to on the CT side, because if they just rush up with a completely dry A ramp, they can really overwhelm that bomb site. And the issue, unfortunately, that Dignitas encountered is if you use your utility early, you have none left to deal with the wall of smokes that AVEZ put down. It's a virtually free bomb plant if the Ts can get those smokes down on the A bomb site, and therefore Dignitas trying to burn out early T-side utility is a very important task. That's why you need those extra Molotovs to bait out the smoke extinguish and allow extra space for your side defending the A bomb site. They are going to walk in AVEZ to a stacked site with Freiburg looking like he wants to flank towards B as well, wrapping around and just making sure no one rotates away at the moment. It is going to be an A commitment, and Hulzerk, his shadow's been spotted, so he's not long for this world.
It's gonna be the straight up AXQ. Kylo holds the flank as well. Spray through the smoke. So many smoke kills coming in. Get Right gets taken out by Naurut, and the last man standing for us will get shut down as well. Naurut with the triple in the round. It was against pretty much nothing in terms of a buy, but they still managed to get it cleanly on AVEZ with most of their utility alive as well. So a lot of money still left for them. They can lose so many rounds in a row and still be able to buy up. Dignitas, they're going to go for the pause. See what they're going to do with that op that most likely Hulzerk is going to be able to pick up. But all of a sudden, what was the score? Like 10-3 or something?
Potentially, yeah. At the end of that half, it looks as though 10-3 was the scoreline, 9-2 even. at one point in time. So definitely a very staunch lead for Dignitas that they've firmly lost control of at this point in time. With it all tied up, Holzerk should be able to get the utility he wants with this AWP purchase, but it is the Dignitas side who are in trouble now on map 2.
Yeah, their CT side has not looked as great so far. Their retakes especially, they've banked on their retakes multiple times instead of going for the straight fights and trying to keep them off your sights. And it just has not paid off. They just got shut down time and time again. No utility, no weapons to try and get that retake going, and it is on Exist now towards that fall to try and get himself and his team an advantage. Halzerk is going to peek in wide as well, but does he expect the two players to be towards Sandback's close range? Whiffs the shot from like right in front of him. Will have Exist chiming in for a kill, but towards Fold, he is absolutely a sitting duck. They can just spray him down completely. Now it's all on Freiburg and his teammate Forrest. Forrest does chime in with a kill, luckily enough to try and even it out. Freiburg's playing that fold position again. Needs to be careful that Amali doesn't take him, of course, because that would give so much info. Kyla's gonna get shut down, and this is problematic for AVEZ, especially with the only last man standing. Peeks out wide, but Freiburg still wins that duel. Triple kill for Freiburg. Godberg coming in clutch when his team needs him.
A desperate round that Dignitas needed to win, but they do get it done. They can't save Holzerk's AWP, so it is just 5 M4s against AVEZ, and that T-side bank, they had about 10k on nearly every player, so there are definitely guns coming into this round, and probably into the next round as well for AVEZ. Dignitas, they're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. At least they kept 3 players alive in that last round. They need to do that potentially twice more here in order to put themselves back in a dominant position and restore their cash. They call the timeout to put AVEZ under a bit of pressure and have a tactical discussion themselves. But I do think there are going to be 2 full gun rounds coming through from AVEZ in this one and, well, yeah, in this one and definitely at least the next one as well. So the Dignitas side of things has a lot of work to do. It can't just feel as though it has an easy ride ahead.
Hey, cool. Marco's got the random Falcon. I love the Falcon knife. Definitely my favorite knife. I just wanted to let you all know what my favorite knife is right there. But it is going to be a very quick push towards that A site for AVEZ. How close are they going to get? It's pretty much just Nauro trying to keep them occupied. K does help in with a flash to see if he can push forward. And he does get aggressive very quickly. Is already almost on the A site, actually. But he got pretty tagged by the utility. Does get the headshot in on Halzerk and gives the AVEZ squad a man advantage, but they might not expect the triple man mid push coming in from AVEZ. The sneaky little strat, they are tripling down on that A site, and this is all just distraction coming out from AVEZ, trying to keep them occupied, and it is working perfectly. They're falling into the trap. Get Right is going to go for the peek in mid, needs to be careful that he does not peek too wide, otherwise might get shut down. And Kai, is their distraction actually going to pay off in the end? Exist gets his life taken away. Freiburg is going to chime in as well. Freiburg with a double. The God is amongst us right now. Does peek out wide, but it is going to be a man advantage here for Dignitas. Get Right towards mid. Wins the fight against Kyla. He gets a double. My God, all of a sudden the round has turned upside down. AVEZ, they only have Marcos left. He has the bomb on his back, up in hand. They're pushing towards that B side. Doesn't guess the right angle to throw that molly, but it is going to be problematic to get that bomb plant in. He's trying to get the quick kill coming through. Whiffs 2 shots, unfortunately, and that is going to be a very tough round indeed. Fake plant, but he's being flanked. Get Right should finish him off, and Dignitas with the hero plays coming in. Take themselves another on the board.
This time they survive again with 3 players, but they save an AWP forward, which is great news for Holzerk. He's going to have that sniper back in hand, but it's Get Right and Freiburg who are the best players from Dignitas in map 2. 21 kills each, and they're starting to wake up on the CT side. This AVEZ buy is coming through, but it's slightly late on the last players, and their bank is finally drained. They lose this, they're looking at Eco, and Holzerk, he has decimated Kyler as the first player down.
That's especially very sad to see, because last round they had such a good strat from AVEZ, but they just did not pounce. They waited too long with their execution to try and shut down one of these sites. Onside, Kai peeks out wide. Halzerk's gone. Oh my god, exists as well. Luckily, Freiburg does chime in, make it an even score, 3 versus 3, but Kai does spook Dignitas completely on that side by getting a quick double entry.
That was amazing work there. Such quick succession that those kills come through in, that the communication is not there on Exist. And I think Exist is just walking forward because he doesn't expect Kai to run straight into the site. He feels as though if he can shift, he can remain hidden and still have presence on the A bomb site. It's not the case, regrettably, as he falls. And in the 3-on-3, the utility is definitely with the Polish players. They have 2 smokes, 2 Molotovs, and 6 flashes to try and get into the B bomb site. And right now, it's only Get Right here, passively holding from mid. You've got Forest kind of tentatively committing over towards the A site, actually. Eventually, the rotations are going to make their way through, and Get Right alone is needing to wait. He's peering over the top of this smoke, and he must be careful about Marcos's AWP. They allow the plant to go through and deploy their remaining smoke. Get Right with an important kill through that smoke grenade, and Marcos missing the opening shot, but lands the secondary flick. Now needs Nora to help him defend from the stairs.
This is a tough retake for Dignitas. They have no utility. The straight peek coming in. Not Marcos luckily chimes in. It's going to be 1-on-1 op versus Get Right. Clutchmeister versus Marcos. Let's see who's going to be able to take it. The no-scope, he does not connected. And just like that, Dignitas get themselves another one. This was so close, but unfortunately for AVEZ, that one, that would have been massive for Marcos to hold down that push. But AVEZ, they lose another one. 3 in a row now in the gutter for them, and Dignitas get themselves a solid advantage. Pause comes in for AVEZ. They can't really go for a full buy. They could go for a decent semi-buy with a good amount of utility, though, if they choose to go for it.
I think that's got to be the call. The issue really for AVEZ is, what do you want to do here? Do you want to give away 14, or do you want to contest even though we don't have the right amount of cash available? It's definitely a tough one, but they want to go for the contestation. Norat has called it. He's picked up an AK and armor for himself. Kai's got the same, and there's going to be lacking utility on this T side unless Kyler picks up a weaker weapon, perhaps some utility for himself. It's Marcos who does that with the Mac 10. Either way, however you look at it, all AVEZ have to work with, really, are these 4 AKs, and they need to go absolutely huge, as Dignitas have been winning these rounds when AVEZ have all the trimmings.
They need their players to go big right now, especially shutting them out at the start, and that is gonna help. Forrest gets taken out by Kai. Nice spray through the smoke, and we'll get the opening frag in favor of AVEZ. Shuts down at least a decent amount of utility. Actually, between the two teams, utility is not that different right now with that heavy committal from Dignitas on towards the A ramp. However, they do need to make something more happen here on the side of AVEZ, because Dignitas, well, actually Dignitas are going to go for the full-on push towards A ramp. This could be pretty problematic for the side of AVEZ if they're not ready. The P5 comes through, but they're in a firing squad ready to shut them down. Halzerk's going to peek out wide top. Does not get a shot connection, unfortunately. He's going to peek in closer, and that is just going to be a free round almost for the side of Dignitas, unless Get Right can go huge right here, but it's very unlikely with this position that he will be able to get more than 2.
I mean, AVEZ, all they do in that last round is sit at the bottom of ramp and wait. They still have all their utility because All they had to do was wait for Dignitas to walk into their crosshairs and then punish them for peeking. Get right, can't secure the last kill of the round, and now it's Dignitas who have to look ahead to an eco. The gamble for AVEZ pays off. They deny Dig 14, and that was just too much extension into the A ramp. It was sunken cost fallacy. They lose one player. They want to keep re-peeking with the double spray down. It doesn't work out, so they go again with Halzerk, trying to get one kill back, and he gets punished at close range. Sunken cost there. Too great for Dignitas to overcome. They look ahead to just the pistols, and AVEZ are going to be coming within one round again.
The money on Dignitas is also completely gone, but it definitely does help opening it up right there. Marcos needs to be careful. Don't play close range against a rushing pistol squad with an AWP. That is just looking for disaster to strike. They will have themselves an AK upgrade on Forest. Will they even... I mean, they will probably just go for some kills. A little bit of economic damage is the most they should be able to be allowed. Especially with Forrest guarding that AK, it seems, down below. Yeah, they're just gonna let this one slide. Maybe go for a quick peek, see if you can get some damage in with P250, but that is about it for Dignitas. They don't want to give them a lot of money either for a kill, holding off the angles. They're even gonna go towards ramp, it seems, to hold that push. The save coming in from AVEZ, but they might actually get a lot more damage done here.
This is a cheeky little off angle from Get Right. He's trying to spam through, but that USPS, not really the best weapon to find damage. Look how small the damage really is there on Takai. He takes very little at the end. There's a free AK for Forest, but Dig still are going to be stretched when they go for this buy. Halzerk can get an open armor out. The rest of the team, they can buy up, but it was the overcommittal to the A ramp that really cost them last time. AVEZ had to use basically no utility. They just sat back and left, clicked, and that was what won them the last full gun round. Now Dig calling through another timeout on this map. They're only one round ahead. If they lose here, they could have to drop down onto another eco. AVEZ would then tie things up and potentially look for the lead.
It's actually pretty problematic for Dignitas that even with the round lead right now, 25 rounds have been played in total, and Forrest is only on 7 frags. They need him to step up. I mean, he is one of their powerhouses in the squad and one of their best players, so might not be as, you know, well versed on this new version of Vertigo. We don't know just yet. He's mainly playing the B side though, so he normally does get swarmed if they head towards B, or he has to go for the retake, which puts him at a spot where, well, you usually just lose the game because you can't really get to the enemies.
I definitely agree with both of those arguments. That they're both plausible explanations for Forest's fragging, at least on the CT side. And we know on that T side, he was coming through with flanks, and his aim definitely is available today. So it's just perhaps the terms of strategy that Dignitas are struggling with at the moment on the CT side. Halzerk ruined by a combination of spam and nade damage. As the bombs recovered by Kyler, it looks like AVEZ are going to take control of this A bomb site. Dignitas hold on to their utility this time though. Eventually they do deploy a smoke, but I don't think they're aware Kai is so aggressively forward. Nora just punishes Exist for his aggression there, and through the smoke, Freiburg will find Kai at bare minimum, and Kyler as well. Denied, oh, can't quite deny the bomb plant. That would have been beautiful. Instead, it's the 3-on-3 retake that Dignitas now have to pull off.
They do have a lot of utility still left on Dignitas though, so this is definitely very possible for them. They do have to hurry up though. They do not have a kit on any of their players, and they need to shut down this op from Marcos. The flash is coming in. Nade comes through as well. That's one kill already. Op shot's gonna win. Freiburg's gonna go for the full 10-second defuse, and it's all on Bialy to try and turn this one around, but it is gonna be for shutting down Bialy. Defuse coming in, and Dignitas on 14 rounds.
They do well to retake there. That could have been very dangerous indeed, but it's Freiburg over on the A-bomb site and Get Right on B. Those two players are what are the conversion factors for these Dignitas rounds. They are performing phenomenally at 26 and 25 apiece. They're both nearing a 30 bomb at this point. AVEZ can get the guns out again, but Dignitas keep that lead at 2 rounds for now.
Yeah, this is still a very tough round indeed. Both sides reasonably broke behind it. It does look like Kyler's just going to see if he can win that straight duel against Get Right. Probably your best bet because Get Right is on that FAMAS, so a little bit weaker weaponry. However, he has been hitting his shots completely this map. And it does look like a nice little push coming out. Oh, they tried to go for the boost up top. A little bit of damage onto Nauro, but he already started spamming, so they got spooked immediately. Nauro does take a lot of utility damage there over the nades flying over and will be down to about 43 HP. Get Right playing that close angle as well. What site are they going to go for? It is pretty risky, of course. The molly to try and get Right out of there. Peek out wide comes through. Kyla shuts him down. That is one of the B defenders gone. They are doubling up in mid on Dignitas, but it is going to be, again, that A push coming through.
It's only Holzerk on the A bomb site as well. AVEZ have rarely attacked the B site, it feels like, and at least not in the early round. And Dignitas have still not been keen to commit their players into the A bomb site. The only time they did so, they were overextending in ramp, and Holzerk is going to wait for his timing to place utility. That Molotov, it should delay the bomb plant quite substantially as well, and that puts time pressure down. But Holzerk, that is not a shot you can be affording to miss at this stage in the game. Bialy's going to get that bomb plant. Nothing Dignitas can do, and they might just save away from this round and let AVEZ onto 13.
I do think someone should retrieve the op. It is actually in a pretty safe place, but it does seem that they're just going to let that op drop and fall back all the way towards the B side. Stick with the AKs, with the 1 AK and 2 M4s, and there's not a hunt coming through because, of course, AVEZ doesn't have that much money themselves. And with that, it's going to be 13 to 14. This one might actually hit OT because it is going down to the wire, neck on neck between these two squads.
What's the cash looking like for Dignitas? Forest can definitely drop, but oh, it's going to be tight. Otherwise, it might have to be an SMG being dropped by Exist over to Holzerk, you'd presume, as it's Get Right who's got to take the rifle. He's been fragging out of his mind so far. Are any drops going to come through at this point? Dignitas, they might not even be going for it. They think their economy is flush enough that they'd rather eco on those 2 players for a full buy in the next round and try and make it work with just 3 rifles here. It's definitely a bold call, and as long as Bialy doesn't take down Forest early, it might work out. They are thinking about aggressing further into him, but instead they hold the advanced ladder room. Holzerk backs away from the angle, and it's no kills found just yet.
Actually, I do agree with this choice here. They have plenty of cash in their bank for the next round. This one would put them at a pretty shoddy buy. I mean, Forrest, yes, he could drop an M4, but it would also mean that he would have no utility, and that is the problem you'd pretty much be having with their buy. They would have no utility, and we saw previously when they tried to retake that A site without utility, they got completely denied. They got shut out. But when they threw in all the utility to try and take it, they absolutely annihilated their opponents. K, close range against Godberg. Who's going to win that duel? It is going to be Godberg. Man advantage coming in from Dignitas right now. They have Get Right with his USB towards that B side. He is solo towards B, and it is going to be a quick B push coming in. His position puts him at, well, a very big disadvantage. Exist will join him, though. And he is getting a headshot tap with that USB. Unfortunately, Exist does get blinded, but Get Right chimes in. USB going out. Oh, Get Right, the USB kill coming through. He's going for the duel against the Opera. Is this actually going to happen for Dignitas? Marcos with the Op again. The exact same position as the last time, trying to clutch it out in a 1v2. Misses the shot, but that's an AK picked up for Get Right. And Get Right, he clutches it out together with his team. And Dignitas, they win the round. How is this possible, Protalis?
One man in the B bomb site. He's got no body armor. He's got a USPS. His defending rifle has flashed off, but somehow the rotations come through quickly enough, and Dignitas get it done. 15 rounds earned with just 3 rifles on the board in that last one. Now they have an AWP out. Now they have all the utility they could hope for in this round to close it out in regulation. AVEZ only need 2 to force overtime, but they have limited nades to work with in round 29.
This is, I mean, this is a round that just hurts so much to lose. For AVEZ, the USP going in big right there. It is going to be an A push. They have a very heavy stack, though, on the side of Dignitas towards that A side. Nade damage coming in heavy onto Marcos, down to 69. And they are holding the flank, but there is no flank. This is just going to be a straight brute force. Close range. Halzuk does not miss that shot. K does get rid of Freiburg, though. Bialy chimes in as well. Big out wide. Halzuk drops the bomb pretty impressively. Forrest saves Halzuk's life right there. Marcos and Bialy, last 2 players standing for AVEZ. This is series point, of course. Loser gets eliminated. Winner goes to the finals. Halzuk is going to get taken out. Nice catch from Bialy, and a 2-on-2. It is Forrest and Get Right that need to clutch this one out versus Bialy and Marcos. They need this one desperately to give them a shot at making it to overtime.
Smoke by space for the plant, but the nade lands straight at Bialy's feet, brings him below half health, and Forrest cleans him away. Marcos, he's had to clutch the last few rounds, and it's Forrest and Get Right, 2 of the most legendary names in the game that he is going to have to overcome to keep his team alive in the semi-finals, holding this A ramp completely blinded as Dignitas deploy the last of their utility. Marcos has to go aggressive with his AWP. He's going to go inside the smoke with his AWP. He's wandering around. No one's stuck the defuse yet, but now they have his number, and they found the shot as well. Forrest, I think there's just enough time left. No! Marcos has done it. Kept AVEZ in the map by the narrowest of margins.
AVEZ, they have a shot. Their money is absolutely disastrous, but somehow Marcos gets them off the bomb, and that is all he needed to do. The timer ran too low. The retake took too long, and the money is looking in tatters for both teams, actually. So there's not going to be a heavy utility buy coming out this round, and it is down to the wire. OT or Dignitas taking the series 2-0. What do you think is going to happen, Protalis? Who do you think is going to take this last final round?
It's such a devastating round to lose for Dignitas. That's like a mental destructor. They should have won that map. That's what they're thinking. We should be in the finals, but we're still playing at the moment. They have to invest. Get Right's going to get a deagle, and to answer your question, I really don't know. I need to see what kind of a buy is coming out from AVEZ. Marcos with a Galil. I think it is AVEZ who have the advantage in this round. Halzuk, yes, he's got an AWP in hand, but he's been really quiet with the weapon on Vertigo. He's got 17 kills, but it's basically just one and done from him in a round at the moment. Not quite the impactful plays that we're used to seeing, as he's going to peer down to the A ramp. He's smoked off early, and Kai could still wreck him with this boosted position.
And he does exactly that. Kai shuts down Halzuk off on the ground again. Will they flush out the play towards sandbags, though? They do not molly it just yet. Exist has a pretty solid position where he could catch them off guard if he gets a little bit of support from his teammates. They are still playing with Get. Oh my god, forced through the smoke. Headshot onto Naru. Okay, let's pull out all the stops and absolutely go big or go home right now. Forrest is still playing that close angle, trying to get himself an upgraded weapon, but he is still stuck on that deagle. Exist is not even being flushed out right now. No one is even checking that, and they still have one molly on Marcos where they could chuck it over the sandbags, but this could be really crucial for Exist. This might be overlooked completely by the side of AVEZ, and it does seem like it is overlooked. Kai close range does lose the duel against Exist. Now they'll finally notice that he's there. Peek out wide from Bialy, but Exist is not getting any help. Kyler is going to shut down Freiburg. The dig shots from Forrest trying to get something done, but it's all down to Get Right, and Forrest nade coming in through a decent amount of damage, but is not enough so far. This is looking very OT for me.
Definitely likely exists. Playing from the sandbags, I don't know why he'd want to use the only rifle they've got in that angle. I'm assuming he's just trapped after they kill Halzerk, because it's so likely you're not going to get any or only get one kill from that position. You're the only man with a rifle on the CT side. Doesn't feel like the right call for my money. And AVEZ, they're going straight into overtime. Dignitas could not hold on. They should have won this map, but they got off the bomb. Both players distracted by Marcos in the round prior, and that allows AVEZ to push things into overtime. Halzerk, you have to feel like a player who's starting to go missing at the minute for Dignitas. In all of these important rounds, he feels like he's having very little impact on that CT AWP.
Yeah, it is pretty much exactly that. They spend so, I mean, I think they picked it up, but most of the time they spend so much money picking up that op. And he just gets wrecked by a boot. They literally take him down. Either, as you said, he gets a 1-for-1 trade, which is not worth it if you buy an op for it, or he just gets straight up annihilated. This was one of those rounds where he just got deleted by Kai, who actually finally started waking up on that T side and started throwing some heavy punches against this Dignitas squad.
I don't want to be rude, but Getright and Freiburg are on 28 and 27 kills at the moment. Heading into that last round, you've got limited rifles available. Why are you giving the M4 to exist? He's only had 10 frags throughout the entire map. Surely you want to be giving those better weapons to the players who have been dominating throughout the scenario. Instead, it was Getright and Freiburg on pistols and then Forest and Exist on the MP9 and M4. That decision makes no sense in my mind whatsoever. I don't know why they don't give the players who have been performing out of their minds the better weaponry. It just feels like a cacophony of errors in the final round there for Dignitas. And as now we head into overtime, it is very important that they get a strong CT scoreline, because AVEZ are going to be completely fired up on this map.
And it's now going to come down to rifle rounds every single time. Full buy, full utility, full weapons. So both sides will have the ops. Not that Marcos or Halzerk have really utilized the ops as heavily on this map. It's not... I mean, we did talk about this briefly in the previous series where Nuke and Train heavy op maps. Vertigo, not so much. There are only a couple of angles that you really hold down with that op. You... sometimes it's mainly, normally it's either mid or you go for the quick peek towards ramp, but besides that you don't really need an op on this map. It is so close range, it is so quick execution based map. You can easily swarm the enemy with just AKs instead, or M4s instead of the op.
Well, it's Getright and Freiburg leading the way for Dignitas, but for AVEZ, Kai, Kyla and Nora, the IGL, all three players really putting in performances at the moment to try and carry their side to victory here and keep themselves alive in this semi-finals. Marcos misses the opening shot onto Halzerk, so he isn't going to be punished for his early commitment. But again, I don't think we've seen a single round in Vertigo so far in which Halzerk's found more than one kill with an AWP.
Yeah, that is a problem indeed, especially because normally the positions that he stands in are those angles where the moment that they double peek him, he is dead. He cannot fall back quickly enough. They go for the double boost on AVEZ towards mid, and they spot out for shut him down. The op from Halzerk trying to get a recovery coming in, but they will fall back on AVEZ right now. They do have a man advantage, and that's all they came for in the middle area. But look at this, Dignitas trying to clear as much as possible, trying to get aggressive, get a catch somewhere. However, it is going to be, again, that A execute from AVEZ, which has been just a straight problem for Dignitas. They have not really gone for any solid holds. They go for the retakes pretty much every single time, and it has not paid off as much as they would have liked.
It really hasn't. Now the wall of smokes are down in the A bomb site, and there's a lot of Dignitas utility to try and deny a bomb plant here. They're going to deploy more Molotovs, but they both land in a smoke. That is a huge blunder from Dignitas. They waste 2 Molotovs in this vital round. Bialy takes down Halzerk before he can get a kill, but AVEZ still haven't been able to plant. The nades have kept Norup from being able to secure it. Exist will only take down Bialy, though, before being destroyed. AVEZ, they pick up 16, and that looked really comfortable.
Yeah, they had so much, like, in the end, AVEZ had, I think, a smoke and 2 flashes left of their utility, while Dignitas pretty much had everything. But they wasted a total of 3 mollies in 1 smoke. That is, first of all, they're stacking all their mollies on the same spot, which, you know, not necessarily the smartest thing to do. Second of all, at one point, you know, you already wasted 2 there. Who threw in the 3rd one at the end to try and molly it again? It's not the smartest move in the world. It's just, you know, these small little things that still need to be changed on the side of Dignitas, because they had such a massive advantage in utility.
This time it's more passive angles taken by Dignitas. They stack up in this A site, but much further away from the A ramp than they had been previously. And I have to say, I think I like this adjustment. It feels as though every time Dignitas have tried to go aggressive on this CT side, that's when they've really been punished. That's when AVEZ have just taken these opening kills and then converted it into an A round execution. It feels as though throughout this entire map, AVEZ have only attacked the B bomb site out of desperation, or when they're convinced that they've drawn the B stack in from Dignitas. They've read this Dignitas CT side like a book throughout the second half, and now in overtime they look to continue. Halzerk up close is so lucky to be alive right now, and Exist is bailing him out alongside Freiburg. Kai takes Halzerk down, but Forrest gets him back at bare minimum. Dropping a nade through, he'll take down Kyler as well, and now AVEZ at a 2-man disadvantage to try and secure round 17.
Especially that kill onto Kai. Really big from Forrest to chime in where he's needed. Bialy playing the smoke. Marcus is going to get the kill onto Forrest, though, and it is now possible. No, Bialy gets dropped. 15 seconds. Needs to plant the bomb. Unless he goes absolutely insane right now, it should be an easy round for Dig.
What?
Okay. Well, luckily,
close.
Get Right to chime it in, but holy... What sense is he playing? Like, what was that?
Ridiculous no-scope flick there. That really did make me scared for Dignitas in the round. It doesn't matter that they only survive with 1 alive because it's 16k overtime. Cash is as flush as it possibly could be, and now Dignitas are trying to use double AWPs on Vertigo. I don't like that at all. You really are only using this for an early pick, and then you're throwing that second sniper away and switching on to the secondary rifle. It's just not a map that favors those AWPs. Get Right, though, it looks like he's going to anchor the B bomb site with an AWP in hand and then a rifle at his feet to try and deny the follow-up rifle, as Halzerk again has missed a shot towards mid and now has to back away. And it has to be said that lack of impact from the Norwegian AWPer is being felt.
Yeah, the only thing he's doing right now is just being a decoy against this AVEZ squad and a linchpin to get intel, but he is not hitting any of the shots. Kay and Nara both peeking in, shutting down that A site. Pig comes out, also gets finally a kill again, and they will actually turn it around, make it a 3-on-3. Kyler's pushed through mid though, and Get Right, he does jiggle peek it, knows that Kyler's now in mid, and it does give the intel to his teammates that they are possibly going towards the B side. Oh my god, that was so scary right there. Get Right peeks out wide, gets a spray down on 1. Bialy takes a lot of damage from the second. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Halzerk with the op. That's a moment where he needed to shine, and now it's all on Forrest in the 1v2. He could have waited. He could have done so many different things, but went for the straight peek to try and shut down that push. Unfortunately, it is now Forrest who needs to clutch it out. Will be right behind them. Might be able to get a free kill here onto Kyler. Is not going to pull the trigger just yet. Oh my god, the lineup! He gets them both. Forrest with the flank play. Dignitas win. They're 17th on the board, and that was a massive clutch needed by Forrest because they're swapping to the other side. And wait, actually no, they're swapping to the T side, which they've absolutely been dominating on. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Forrest was quiet, definitely, at the end of, well, at least towards the later stages of the second half, but in overtime and at the end of that second half, he was really starting to come alive. He was only on 7 kills at one point when we were deep into the match, but now he's dug himself out of that hole and he's nearly on 20. What a time for him to show up as well. And AVEZ, they just get completely timing there. Kyler is so annoyed. He was watching the flank for ages, and basically the 4 seconds that they decide to turn around and walk into the site is, of course, the moment that Forrest peeks up and finds a massive double. Now it's Dignitas who have the advantage in overtime, and they're heading onto a CT side that they onto a T side that they managed to win 10-5.
Yeah, and AVEZ's defense has not looked as good. It doesn't open up nicely with 32 damage onto Naurot. It's going to be Halsuk with that up, hoping that someone peeks into his crosshairs and he will be able to take him down. But as we've said multiple times, at one point, okay, on their T side, he looked a lot better. I don't think he's gotten nearly any frags on his CT side, so his aggressive hopping was okay-ish. There's going to be a quick aggressive peek coming through from AVEZ. They're getting really close around. The flash is most likely going to come through. And Exist gets blinded. Close range. Halsuk does get the shot in 1-for-1 trade. And it is still even, as all things should be.
And that really is AVEZ showing you what Dignitas should have been doing with their ramp control. Instead of sitting at the back and spamming at range, trying to hit shots from super far away, dump the utility in that forces them off those early angles, and then look to push forward at close range to get the kills. It at least yields something for Nor at the IGL and gives a bit of info to AVEZ. It eats a healthy amount of time up too, as Dignitas have just 30 seconds left to execute. They know they have to push this A site. Kai gets Halsuk, but Get Right's found Bialy. Still a 3 versus 3 as he's trying to dodge the Molotovs. Kai, he's succeeded in that objective as well. And Dignitas, they have to aggress into the A bomb site, but they need to take Kai down.
Yeah, but the fact that Kai is just holding the line there, keeping them distracted. 12 seconds left. This round has been won unless, Get Right will not be able to get that bomb plant in time. Kai has done what he had to. 3 kills for him from behind sandbags, keeps them occupied, and they just can't get any plant in or push past him because they need to shut him down. Great round from Kai and AVEZ. They're not out of this game just yet.
And it's that early ramp play. They only find 1 kill, but they eat all of the round. It takes up all of the time that Dignitas have to utilize. By the time they actually decide to attack the A bomb site, they just don't have the time to work with. They can't get Kai rooted out from sandbags because his smoke grenade is going to last forever. It's just not enough time to wait for it to dissipate. They can't molly him out, and Kyler this time has found that opening kill onto Freiburg as well. Dignitas, this is not going well at the moment. AVEZ have already found the first round of second OT, and they are a man advantage up in the second round.
Dignitas, their T side looked a lot better in their initial attempt towards it. They are a man down. Freiburg, especially being down, is pretty painful. Forrest is going to go for his mid flank, see if it pays off. This time he might have to peek into an op and an M4 if he's not careful, but it is going to be Kai playing that close range mid linchpin, and Kai has been doing way too much work so far. The molly does connect on him. Now Rod's actually playing the sandbags right now. He's going to peek out wide. Doesn't get as much done as Kai did in that angle, and it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far, 4 versus 4. The utility is... Actually, CT have barely any utility left. They've got 2 smokes and a molly versus 3 smokes, 2 flashes, and an HE grenade. So definite possibility here for Dignitas. They expected the second player to be towards that sandbags because they are kind of terrified of it. But Kai, he's trying to play the smoke, gets a little gap going in his favor, will get rid of Halsuk, and that is again a man advantage coming in for AVEZ.
And another round here on Vertigo in which Dignitas' AWP finds no impact. Get Right should be able to secure the bomb plant here. Exist can protect him. And now it's a 3 versus 4 scenario. Forest finds the flank importantly and doesn't take too much damage as well. Bialy in the upper position, but it's Kai who's looking to aggress close range to the scaffolding. Marcos is the man on the bomb site with his AWP, but Exist has taken Kai down. Dignitas now need to find 2 more players to put themselves on map point, but Bialy's taken down Exist. Marcos has tapped the bomb like 10 times, and now they aggress ramp. Marcos hits the shot, leaves Get Right alone, and he's clutched it again. The hero for Dignitas. Massive triple kill for Get Right, and they have an opportunity to close things out on Vertigo.
Yeah, this is absolutely the hero play they need from him right now. Again, series point for AVEZ. Can they overcome this? It was so close. Again, it just every single time it's so close. But they need to clutch this one out. It is really tough to manage. Hulzerk, what is going to be his op angle this time? I really want him to start stepping up like he did on Nuke. He was really good on Nuke, but unfortunately, Vertigo is not as heavy as an op map as Nuke it has been. So that really does bite him, unfortunately, but they do have plenty of utility on both sides. Will they go for the aggressive ramp push again? It does seem they are triple stacking that area, and they're going to peek out wide on AVEZ, but A ramp has been left behind. Kyler is the only one on the B side, and it does seem like they are heading towards that B site completely with one linchpin of Marcos in mid. The peek comes out. They know that Kyler is playing towards the left side. Well, for them, left side, and he is holding them off long enough, but this might all be a distraction for them to turn back around towards the other side.
It is, but AVEZ, they don't know what's happening. They can't quite guess whether this is a bait or whether this is an execution. There's still a lot of time left on the clock, you see. And Dignitas, I don't think they've attacked the bomb site with more than 30 seconds to go in overtime just yet. So they are going to rotate players back over towards A. But at least they've managed to put Marcos' AWP on the B bomb site. They did temporarily, and it looks like they might lock it in further as Freiburg makes a little bit more noise, keeps those 2 players rooted into the B bomb site, and makes sure that Dignitas now have a man advantage in their A execution.
Peek out wide. Kai, of course, he gets himself the first kill. There's a triple man stack towards that old area. 15 seconds. Bomb is ticking down. They need to clutch this one out quickly. They need to get the bomb plant in, but it is very hard to do. Freiburg needs to be covered completely. There's going to be Marcus trying to get the op shot in, but it gets denied, and they win the round. A double overtime coming in between AVEZ and Dignitas, and they manage to take it down.
Once again, it's time that is the enemy of Dignitas on their T side. They wait too long to push, and then that triple man stack towards scaffolding was just not anticipated whatsoever. Second overtime on the way then, as it is still Get Right and Freiburg leading the way for their side, but Forest is the man who started to wake up in overtime. He's now overtaken Hulzerk on the frags. He really doesn't want to lose control of this map, but neither do AVEZ. They're fighting for their lives, and so far they've managed to keep a hold of them.
Yeah, this is absolutely an insane map so far. Neck on neck. On one side, you've got Get Right and Freiburg going completely insane for Dignitas versus Kyler and Kai. I mean, not even only those, like the entirety of AVEZ is pretty much trying to duel Get Right and Freiburg constantly. Forest has woken up a little bit, and Hulzerk does chime in every once in a while, but it is definitely on Get Right and Freiburg's back to try and take this series in their favor.
Dignitas. The thing is, it's twice that they've had an opportunity to close it out there. They had it in regulation time where Marcos was able to clutch things out and win a 1 versus 2. That's what basically forced overtime. And then again, they had map point, charged into the A bomb site, did everything right, drew the two defenders onto B, but just read the site wrong. And to be fair to Dignitas, how are they supposed to predict that AVEZ are going to put all three players in the same angle? Dignitas, they wait too long though, and the problem perhaps for that side is that if they had just committed straight into B, then they would have only had one player to find, and it's an easy site defense then perhaps with the man advantage.
It definitely is exactly that. If you have that early advantage, you definitely have a solid shot, but it is definitely not over so far. Quick push towards B coming out. Marco's blinded, but do they expect Kyler so close? Kyler's gonna spray. He does not get a single kill. He had the perfect angle to get a double. They were unaware of his positioning, and Forrest just jumps through in mid. No one on the side of AVEZ holding the flank. They went aggressive on ramp themselves and completely turned their back against the rest of their team. A two-man advantage now coming in. Forrest executes now as well. The moment that I just said that he did get, well, he woke up a little bit, he finally shuts down this entire AVEZ squad with everything he has. Kai is trying to go for the clutch. Of course, it doesn't matter with how much you have in the bank anyway, so you definitely should try to get as much done as possible. But Bialy, he's not even anywhere close to the site just yet. It is going to be an easy round for Dignitas and a quick B rush, which AVEZ completely did not expect.
Bialy creeping in to go for the ninja. Please tell me Holzerk's keeping an eye on this bomb. It looks like he is. There's no time for Bialy. Anyway, he will remove Holzerk from the round, which can be costly. The AWPs are about the only purchase that you can't really sustain 3 AWP buys consecutively with head armor, even in 16k overtime. So decent find at the end of the round to take Holzerk down, but the problem is that he might drain Holzerk's bank. He's not going to drain the rest of Dignitas. They'll be able to drop single snipers throughout second OT, and with the first round of their T side, they are going to need to continue to perform strongly here. The magical number now 22 for either side to hunt down in order to claim victory, and this time it's aggressive towards the A ramp for Dignitas.
Big nade damage coming in for Dignitas to start off with, because they know that AVEZ are getting aggressive every single time. Exist can't peek out wide. They will already fall back on the side of AVEZ and just give away that A ramp position. But they do need to put one extra play towards mid now every single time because of those Forest flanks. Kai has his nade in his hand. He's going to spray against them, but they just man spray him completely down. Exist gets a double. Peek out wide. The whiff shot coming in from Marcos, and that is that A side gifted away. Forrest through the smoke headshot. What is up with these players? Just they absolutely annihilate through these smokes. Skylar 1 versus 3 clutch attempt coming through, but it is with these post plants, it's going to be really tough. Holzerk will get the shut in and shut down Kyler. 20-18 for Dignitas. 2 more rounds and the last round of this half.
Forrest as well, really showing up and starting to go big now. He had 14 kills before overtime began. Now he is up on 25. Absolute insanity when you compare it to Exist, who had 11 at the start of overtime and now has 15. Forrest is clearly really waking up and not willing to allow this series to go to a third map for Dignitas. They found 20. If they can find 21, they'd need a single CT round. But look at this get right. Has walked past Kai, and this could be huge if Norok doesn't pick him down. Holzerk does get caught off by Kai, but that's a massive double for AVEZ to find. He is the aggressive CT player, and he comes out on top of the engagement.
And that especially also solidifies the fact that they're not heading towards the A side, holding the aggressive A ramp, and they now know where this AVEZ, this Dignitas squad is going. But as you can see on the minimap, Marcos is actually flanking mid and is trying to get behind Dignitas as well. So they are really being boxed in. They have to push quickly, otherwise they might get completely shredded apart. Kyla's going to be playing close angles. Spray comes out. Kyla shuts down Freiburg and might spot out Exist, who's right behind the smoke there, but will not find him. Bialy's on 1 HP as well. Marcos with the flank coming through, and that is going to be AVEZ with the only round on their CT side OT. but they will at least make sure that they have a shot at taking this second OT in their favor, because they are going to be playing on that T side, which they have been looking absolutely insane on as well.
Both sides need a minimum of 2 rounds in this next half. Dignitas need 2 for the victory, and AVEZ need 2 to secure the tie. If they got 3 in a row, they could still claim victory on this map, and now they're heading over to their T side, where they certainly looked stronger. Both sides at the moment have gone 2-1 in their T sides of overtime, so it may be the case that whoever picks up a second CT round will be the victor. If Dignitas were to do it in this next half, they would have secured victory in double OT, as AVEZ want to push us to the triple to stay alive in this Malta Vibes Cup.
They're definitely gonna need to pull something out of the hat, because Dignitas are not gonna give them anything. You have to take it by force, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. I mean, just let Kai do what he wants, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely been on top of his game. They're gonna go for the double op again on Dignitas. Of course, as you said, pretty dangerous on the CT side. Forrest might just feel that this might be his round to pick up that op. Halzerg wants to go for the aggressive peek again. Has attempted it multiple times. Exist is gonna lose his life. Halzerg does chime in, but again, a 1-for-1 trade with the op. And that is a one-man advantage on the side of AVEZ. They will go for the boost towards B, and it does seem to be a B play coming in, with Get Right just about leaving that B site as well.
I hate this early ramp commitment from Dignitas. It's literally never working for their side. They're continuing to try and take the early fights and just being wrecked by AVEZ on every single occasion. They need to stop doing it and play more passively in the site. They just have had no success. They've left B completely empty now, and AVEZ off the back of a double entry. It's an easy opening round to their T side of overtime. Forest, I mean, they shouldn't be peeking into him here. They've heard him scope in at close range. They might even be able to flash him out of his angle as well. So Dignitas attempting this 3v4 retake. They're waiting for Get Right to arrive on the flank, but of course Marcos is watching the angle. Half the bomb time has now ticked down before Get Right arrives, but the odds he just gets picked off straight away are incredibly high. Marcos instead whiffs the opening shot, and now this retake is possible. Dignitas have found a second kill. Bialy at close range is in trouble. Forrest has taken him down, and Norat needs to stay alive. Time is his ally, and that's it. One. Get Right has no time to come in and secure the plant, I don't think. Even if he wins this engagement, it's still the round from AVEZ. Another one that takes too long for Dignitas to get anything done, and they give AVEZ the round.
Yeah, it was pretty much Forrest waiting for Freiburg to arrive so that they could go for the take, and it just took too long, as you said. It was kind of funny to watch, of course, Forrest with that op exactly on, the x-ray. It's always beautiful to see, but you know exactly what he was doing. They could peek left, they could peek right. If you have your scope in on the left side, they'll peek right and you'll get absolutely annihilated. So you pretty much just have to hold it in the middle. It is always entertaining to see, and especially this OT is very entertaining to see, because 20-20, one team has to take the next 2 rounds, otherwise we're going to go into triple OT. We might break a record today with these teams, how competitive they are against each other. And this time they're taking a note from your book. They're not going for the aggressive peaks on Dignitas' side towards that A ramp.
Definitely been tough. I have to agree with this passive setup from Dignitas. It is absolutely the right call. I think 31-29 is our current record in Malta Vibes for overtime, so if we were going to be breaking one, there's a long way yet to go. Halzerg, this is an off angle and a half. He needs to hit this opening shot and back away. He can't stick around for any more kills here, and that is what he does. He retreats back into the site, deploy the Molotov, do Dignitas, and they make time so thin for AVEZ on this execution. They're going to have 30 seconds to get in and get the bomb down, and they've only got 2 smokes.
Yeah, this is a very good hold so far from Dig. If Halzerg gets himself a second, that is gonna be a pretty crucial kill. I mean, even planting the bomb right now is still going to be problematic because you could have the hero play exist, then doubling up towards that fold area. That's one kill. Kai just pushed through the smoke. The bomb is going to come through. They will not be able to deny it, but they get rid of Kai, so that's a big player down. Marcos and Bialy, last 2 players left. There's 1 HE grenade on Get Right. There's 1 flash on Marcos, but Marcos has his scope trained towards that site, and this is going to be pretty crucial. Misses the shot. They know that the player is towards barrels. Peek out wide. Get Right gets rid of Bialy. He's going to have to go for the 1v3 clutch, but Marcos, he's going to get knocked off the building, and that is Dignitas on again. Series point. How many times am I going to have to say that one today?
Well, for the first time in recent memory, Halzerk's found a double kill with his AWP, and he's starting to turn up on the scoreboard now as well, perhaps. He's hunting down a 30 bomb of his own. Get Right's chasing down 40, though, as this game progresses. And we mentioned, before this series even began, the players who had to turn up was Kai and Kyler. It was absolute insanity if they weren't able to arrive. We saw it over on Nuke, just how disastrous it was when those players couldn't turn up early enough, but they are certainly awake here on Vertigo. And must-win round for AVEZ, and Dignitas have taken the gamble. They're bringing double AWPs out again, and this time it's Get Right who has the secondary sniper in his hands.
Yep, they do like to play that double op on the side of Dignitas. They are swapping it around on who is wielding it, though. Whereas AVEZ, we've seen it one time. I think Naurot and Kai have picked it up previously as well, but not a single time in OT so far. It is going to be a very heavy push towards that A side. The defense of Dignitas is not completely ready because they still have 3 players anchored towards that B side, so they have to be very careful if AVEZ push this one too quickly. But aggressive smokes coming in as well from Dignitas is going to make it pretty problematic. Nice shot. Halzerk shuts him down. They will do a lot of damage to Exist, though, who's down to 11 HP. And Halzerk is going for the exact same angle peek. It might pay off, and Molly is going to push them back. Great utility usage so far from Dignitas, keeping AVEZ at bay. But they need to double down on that fold. They need to get control of it. Halzerk gets himself a second kill onto Bialy. That's going to be Freiburg shutting him down. They're blinded. They're all in trouble. It's Marcos again. 1v5 this time. It's nearly impossible for him to do, and especially with Exist flanking around Dignitas. They managed to take it into double OT, and they will be able to be the first team to qualify for the finals later today.
Well, you have to say congratulations to them. It was a little bit close there on